Hey everybody out there, it's John from the Pint, and we're celebrating Connecticut Cult Classics Christmas special show on December 13th of this year. That's this week. Hope to see you there. Get your tickets, celebrate Connecticut Cult Classics, celebrate the holidays. Both movies they're showing this year are Christmas action classics, Christmas cops, as they were. Die Hard 2 from 1990 and Lethal Weapon from 1987. These are both movies that we have already done on the Pint. Die Hard 2 we did in July for our summertime 1990s. Trivia fact about that episode, it's one of the only 2 episodes of the show ever that I'm not on. I hurt my rib or something, and I couldn't even fucking think about recording. So let Lloyd and Stu take you through Die Hard 2, and then from our Pint Insider Patreon, Patreon/The Pint, for $2.50 a month you could join. We're giving you this one free 3 years later. We celebrated the 35th anniversary of Lethal Weapon. Myself, Professor Joe, and Shawnee Mack talked all about it. So since these episodes were already done and Lethal Weapon was not made to the public technically, I told Larry, let's put these two together the week of the show and give you guys something to listen to if you wanted to hear our take on these two classic action Christmas cop films. So don't forget, December 13th, the Strand Theater in Seymour, Connecticut. Connecticut Cult Classics is going to be showing Die Hard 2 and Lethal Weapon, the original. So we'll see you there, hopefully. Have a great Christmas season and enjoy the show. Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And we're the hosts of The Pint,
a pop culture podcast.
Lloyd, if you had to tell any of the people out there that might be listening to The Pint for the first time about anything unsavory or disconcerting we might do on the show, what would you warn them about?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers, and sometimes we swear like motherfucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do. You heard it from him. You've been warned.
Listen in.
You had this place secure.
He went in the cockpit.
He's going to hell. McLean! I assume it's you, McLean. You're quite a little soldier. You can consider this a military funeral.
Hi, Pint listeners, and welcome to another episode of the Pint, a pop culture podcast. Today we're doing the first week of summertime 1990 since July is now upon us. My name is Lloyd.
Hi, I'm Stu.
Yeah, you got it. You heard that right. It's just me and Stu. No John today. He texted me literally like an hour ago when I was getting ready to eat. And he said, Manster, I stubbed my pinky toe and I just can't record tonight. Luckily, I have the Pint safety net, Stu, from the Stu World Order podcast. And we are not stopping. We are moving forward. And we're going to do this. How you doing, Stu?
I'm doing poor. I'm doing very poor. There's a reason we are recording on John's StreamYard service. And that's, if I may bitch for a minute,
Go ahead.
I was the last person on earth still using Skype. As a podcaster, I was the last person on earth still using Skype. And then in May, they discontinued Skype. Skype no longer exists. You can't use it. And I had put off coming up with a replacement for Skype because I'm currently recorded up through like mid-August. So I've really punted on this problem. I did not want to have to deal with it. But then tonight, John said that he wasn't going to be hosting, so I would host the recording. And I thought, okay, well, it's time to figure out what I'm going to use instead of Skype now. And everything I tried tonight either wanted me to pay for it or it did not work at all, or it did not work on the free version. So John just gave me his login and said, just use my StreamYard and we'll go for it. But I'm just dying here trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my podcast going forward, how I'm going to record things. So I sent a bunch of call to arms out on the social medias, and I'm waiting for people to get back to me on what they use and what's free and what isn't that complicated. Because I know some people use Discord, and I don't understand Discord like as a service, much less trying to record stuff on it. So that's going to be a no from me. Zoom only lets you do something for 40 minutes or else you have to pay for their monthly fee. Here's the thing. It's not that I don't have the money. It's that I have principles, and Skype was free, motherfucker. Skype was free and did everything I wanted it to for free. And I'm not going to turn around and pay for something now when Skype was free for years. So I'm a principled motherfucker, and I want a free service.
Well, let's see how that model works for you.
I don't want to pay for things. I don't want to pay for things.
Yeah, the world has moved on, I think. As I am currently rereading the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, and that is a common theme. The world has moved on.
Yeah.
Well,
my wife
good luck in
series.
Yeah, it's awesome. And they're going to make a real legit, like, I don't know, Netflix.
I think it's Max.
I hadn't heard that they had decided yet. So.
Oh, okay. Last I heard, they were looking at Max, and I knew it was Mike Flanagan. And I know he's really taking his time with it because he wants to get it as perfectly as he can. So I don't think it's imminent, but somewhere down the pike, we should be getting it. Yes.
Somewhere down the pike. And yeah, it's going to be just take care of that travesty that was a 1.5 hour movie.
My wife hated that so much. I've never seen my wife get so mad at things. It's like when you see comic book movies with comic book nerds and they've changed things and they get mad at the things they've changed. That was my wife watching The Dark Tower. She was so pissy about it. She just kept complaining the entire time.
Take a book, a novel, a series of 7 novels, actually 8 now because there's been another one, and condense it. You're talking like thousands of pages condensed to 1.5 hours of a movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just, they took the tiniest little portion of it and called it The Dark Tower.
Yeah. My wife was like, he would never stop being the gunslinger movie. That's not who he is. He would never shame his father's or whatever, however my wife was terming it. She had all the
forget the face of his father.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
That's not what we're here for today, unfortunately. I can't wait, maybe someday. But in case you don't remember, we are doing the Summertime 1990s. This is the first recording of it for the 2025 version. That is celebrates the summer blockbuster movies from May to August of the decade of 1990 through 1999. And it's Summertime 1990s. It's a good name, makes sense. Nothing clever like like Van Damuary or Blow Me Timber. Just simple and to the point. All right, let's get into it.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance. I know there's a lot riding on it, but it's all psychological. Just got to stay in a positive frame of mind.
We haven't even announced yet, right?
I don't think so. I don't think we've said what we're talking about. We're just trusting that everyone read the title of the episode.
Yeah, you've read the title of the episode. You've seen it. We are doing Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Released on July 4th of 1990. Directed by Rennie Harlin, Finnish film director. We just talked about this guy a couple months ago when we did our what did we call it? The winter stuff, the cold frigid February
stuff.
That's what it was. So one of his movies was Cliffhanger. So we talked about him back then. I won't spend much time today, but he did Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, Adventures of Ford Fairlane. The Long Kiss Goodnight and Deep Blue Sea. Some good stuff in there. I like The Long Kiss Goodnight. That was fun.
I've never seen that one. That's a missing one for me.
Then we have screenplay by Stephen E. D'Souza. Worked on 48 Hours, Commando, The Running Man, The Flintstones, TV, he did $6 Million Man, The Hardy Boys, and Nancy Drew Mysteries. Also co-written by Doug Richardson, who did Money Train, Bad Boys, and he did rewrites for Live Free or Die Hard. So this movie was based on, it was adapted from a novel from Walter Wager, 1987 novel called 58 Minutes. And it basically has the same plot, but it's more about the daughter is in the air, and it's not as complex as this plot, which is basically what they needed to do. So the script expanded on that novel. It added the conspiracy involving the deposed South American dictator and that rogue U.S. military unit. That was all added for the film. And the movie, the pressure was on to escalate the stakes, right? Die Hard was a winner, so they just wanted to do it again, bigger, better, louder. But there was a lot of issues with that had some financial and logistical problems. I don't know if you are aware of any of those, but like one of the biggest challenges was the snow, the relentless pursuit of snow. So Rennie Harlin envisioned a snow-covered Dulles Airport, right? Which is crucial for the film. The style, the visuals, in a key plot point. Well, he originally intended to shoot in Denver, Colorado, but that year was unseasonably warm and there was no snow to be found. So they were actually like chasing snows, like those storm chasers chase tornadoes. Yeah,
If you feel it,
yeah,
if you feel it, something it. I don't remember. I didn't like Twisters that much. Well, I'm not Nick from the live stream from The Cure. I'm not enamored of Twisters.
I liked the first one, but the second one, I had it on and I couldn't even pay attention, so I stopped. Yeah. So that took them to different locations throughout Washington State and Michigan in search of their perfect winter wonderland. Which I don't know. They found some stuff, but I don't think it was that great as far as the snow.
I thought the snow looked fine in this movie.
No, it really took me out of it a couple times.
Wow. Okay.
There was a lot of artificial snow, including like potato flakes and paper and rock salt and fire foam, all these different things they used. And they did some in a soundstage when they planned to be outside. So that also helped escalate. And I was thinking when I was reading this, I was like, why don't they just use snowmakers? Like on, like you go on like ski slopes.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was so smart, and I Googled it. Right. I said, why didn't Rennie Martin or whatever
Harlan.
his name is, Harlan, use snowmakers? And Google practically laughed at me.
Oh no!
Like, you silly boy. What a dumb question. Basically, it's the sheer time, cost, equipment, and logistics, and the weather involved in blowing snow. And it's not like you're just blowing it down a ski slope. This is a whole airport runway.
Okay, yeah, I never put a lot of thought into how snowmakers worked. I thought they just kind of blew snow and that was it. So
yeah, well,
it doesn't seem like it would be that much harder than using flakes of
potatoes.
Yeah, but what do I know?
I don't know. Some of the snow looked literally like ripped up pieces of paper to me in some of the scenes. And when they're blowing it, it blows around like paper. So I don't know. I didn't love that. But anyway, that and a lot of the action sequences caused the budget of the film to swell from like 40 million to about 70 million, which is pretty big. You're talking 1990.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money now, but 1990,
Yeah, it's a huge budget movie for 1990.
You also had some tensions on the set between Bruce Willis and Rennie Harlin. I guess Willis wanted a more serious and less humorous portrayal of the character. He wanted to take it in a different direction, but Harlan was like, no, you got to do all those one-liners, and that's what people love, and that's what you're going to do.
After the first Die Hard, how could Bruce Willis come in and be like, I don't want to say one-liners. I want to be very serious. Like, his character's even in a better place in this movie. He's happily remarried to Holly. Like, his character's happier, so why wouldn't he
you're right.
have the one-liners and the humorous moments? That's
right.
going to fly in the face of one of the things I do say I like about this movie later on, but you kind of have to have that attitude that was already established in Die Hard. You can't just erase that part of his character.
Can't, right. You can't erase that. No. Yeah, and you're definitely right. Like, he had a much better relationship, obviously, with his wife. They're back together, kissy and, making little sexy jokes and stuff. I don't know what he was thinking. He's not the boss. And one other thing that this film is notable for is being the first, or possibly one of the first, I couldn't nail it down, to utilize a digital composite live action footage on top of a traditional matte painting.
Okay.
That they scan into the computer and then they do their live action over that matte painting. I guess, it's the first before they weren't doing the live action over matte. So pretty groundbreaking technique for the time. And then I guess they used that on that runway explosion too, that final scene. And then one other thing before we get to the cast is the TV edit. I actually started watching this on TV, and then it dawned on me that John gave me a Die Hard trilogy DVD set like a few years back. And I'm like, I think I got that downstairs. So one thing that they substitute the yippee-ki-yay motherfucker, because he does say that again in this movie. They substitute in yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon. So I guess what they also did was, to have that make sense, was they gave Esperanza, the dictator, they gave him the code name of Mr. Falcon.
Oh, okay.
So it makes sense.
I mean, that's something, I guess. Yeah, that's a lot of work just to censor one line of the movie, though.
Yeah, but there's a few swears, right? There's a few F-bombs in there.
Yeah,
especially with Dennis Franz.
At least he doesn't show his ass like he did in NYPD Blue.
Oh, did he show it in that? Oh man,
wasn't that pretty famous? Like the first season of NYPD Blue.
Right. Yeah, they were always showing men's asses. Not a whole lot of women's, but a lot of men's.
Yeah, they were like, we're on at 10 o'clock at night on ABC. We can show asses.
Yeah, right. And who wants to see, like, instead of what's that chick's name? Instead of her ass, let's see Dennis Franz. Amy Brennerman. Yeah, she was in that.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to the cast.
Assemble your crew.
Bruce Willis as a LAPD Lieutenant Detective John McClane. He pulled in a $7.5 million salary for this.
Also very big for 1990.
Yep, pretty big. You'll know him from Moonlighting, Pulp Fiction, 12 Monkeys, Looper. Do you know, and I just realized this today, I was doing some research. He played on stage Paul Sheldon, the author from Misery.
Okay.
I guess that was his first stage production in the Bucks County Playhouse in New Hope, Pennsylvania.
I know of Bucks County. It's nowhere near me, but I know of it.
It's not near you? All right. Yeah, I know of Bucks County too. It's a pretty well-known area, at least the name of it. Bruce Willis and his family announced that he was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. I don't know about you, but I have that. I've been affected by that in my family and my loved ones, and my heart goes out to anyone that's struggling with that and the families of those people. It is a heartbreaking disease, and it's just terrible to see someone like that status, suffering with that.
Yeah, I had somebody in my family just within the last 2.5 years passed away from Alzheimer's, dementia, and it was tough watching them regress from who they were to who they became at the end there. It was bad.
Yeah, it just steals your fucking whole persona, your memories, everything.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Then we have Bonnie Bedelia as Holly Gennaro, McLean. She's the wife of Bruce Willis's character. She was in Presumed Innocent, Needful Things, a lot of other stuff. She is the aunt of the actors Macaulay Culkin, Kieran Culkin, and Rory Culkin.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't aware of that until I looked at it up.
No, this is the first time I've ever heard she was related to them.
Yep. I'm going to try and go through these quickly because, we got a lot to talk about. William Atherton as Richard Dick Thornburg. He was in the Hindenburg, if you recall that movie from the 70s. Looking for Mr. Goodbar, which is another 70s movie where I would try to catch snippets of it on HBO when I was a kid because there's some titties in that. It's just one of those movies. Then Ghostbusters, obviously. Yes, this man has no dick. He was born in Orange, Connecticut. So
okay.
I always like to get those Connecticut, links in there. Then we have Reginald Johnson as LAPD Sergeant Al Powell.
They really shoehorned him into this movie just to give him a role, didn't they? Which good. I'm always happy for Reginald Jensen to have a paycheck, but he really didn't need to be in this movie.
He didn't. No, he didn't. He was in Turner and Hooch. He played Carl Winslow in the sitcom Family Matters. Yeah, did a lot of TV shows, just a lot of sitcoms and stuff like that. Then, more people getting shoehorned in. Franco Nero as General Ramon Esperanza. So Franco Nero's real name is Francesco Clemente Giuseppe Sparinero.
Yeah, those Hispanic names are crazy. They have so many middle names, or however they get all those names. They've got so many.
They got a lot of names.
Yeah, you think that in America you've got 3 names, and you're like, I'm not too many people are going to have the same name as me. Like nobody in all of Hispania can possibly have the same name as anybody else with all those middle names, man.
I'll tell you, I do have 4 names myself. I've got a junior tacked on the end of my 3 names.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't sound as flowing as
that. It doesn't sound as good.
No, not at all. He did a lot of 60s and 70s, like Italian films. He did a movie we did here, Enter the Ninja, where he played a pretty funny character. I thought he was funny. He like totally molested that lady when he saw her. He was in John Wick Chapter 2, also The Pope's Exorcist. Then we have William Sadler as the U.S. Army Colonel William Stewart. Now, really good character actor. He's in so much stuff, and I'm pretty sure I wasn't on that particular episode, but I'm pretty sure he was on somebody's list when we did the character actor episode years ago. He was in Bill.
A long time ago, you guys. Yeah, I remember that episode. That was a while.
6 years ago.
Yeah,
it feels like before COVID, or maybe it was right before COVID. He was in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Shawshank Redemption, of course, Demon Knight, which we also did with Curtis Spieler, The Green Mile, and recently he was in the new Salem's Lot movie from 2024.
Oh yeah, he was.
He took the place of the other character actor, not Wright. What's his name? Jeffrey Lewis.
Okay.
They played the same character years apart. Then you have John Amos as Major Grant. If you're younger, you may not know this guy, but he played James Evans Sr. in Good Times, the TV show. He was in The Beastmaster, Coming to America. What was the name of that place that he worked? Not McDonald's, but something similar.
Oh, in Coming to America?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I don't know.
Oh, really? It sounded like McDonald's, but it was slightly different. And then Coming to America, which is the second one, which I've heard waste my time. Yeah. I just heard horrible things. Also played himself in Uncut Gems. I don't know if you ever saw that with Adam Sandler.
I didn't. My wife watched it and hated it, so I just never got around to watching it myself.
I didn't hate it, but it's just more Adam Sandler than I could take.
She said for her problem with it, she said it gave her anxiety. It was all just people yelling and being frantic and everything. She said
very
it was
much so. Dennis Franz as the airport police captain, Carmine Lorenzo. We already talked about him. He played Detective Andy Sipowicz on NYPD Blue. He was in a lot of movies that go way back. Dressed to Kill. He was in Popeye, Psycho 2. He was an uncredited voice in Scarface. He played like a border police or something like that. And also Body Double. Going back to those Dressed to Kill, Body Double type movies. Then we have Art Evans as Leslie Barnes. He's the airport chief engineer. He's the black dude with the white hair.
Yeah.
He was in The Main Event. I don't know if you ever saw that, but Barbra Streisand movie and Ryan. What's his name? Why can't I remember his name? Anyway, it's escaping me right now. Tough Turf, which we did here on the Pint years ago as well. Fright Night, the 1985 brilliant movie, and Ruthless People.
He's in Fright Night? I've got to rewatch Fright Night. I don't remember that. I love Fright Night.
I forget what character.
Yeah.
I even like the second one, the 2011, I think.
Oh, the 2011 one is great. Yeah, I think they're equally good. If you gave me a choice, I would watch either Fright Night. It'd be like a coin toss.
Wow. I didn't watch it for so many years, and then we talked about like maybe remakes or something on the show, and I think Sir John had mentioned Fright Night, and I'm like, no way I'm watching that. He goes, you should watch it. It's good. And I agree. A few more here. Fred Thompson as Ed Trudeau, the air traffic flight director. Fred Thompson, he's a very interesting guy.
He's the guy from Law and Order, right?
Yeah. He's a politician, an attorney, a columnist, an actor, a radio personality. He served as a U.S. Senator from Tennessee from 94 to 2003, and he was an unsuccessful candidate in the Republican Party presidential primaries in 2008.
Oh,
that's
in 2008?
Crazy. Yeah, not that long ago.
No.
Right? So, yeah, that's Fred Thompson.
I thought you were going to say he ran in like 1980 or something, but 2008, that's 2008. Recent.
Robert Costanzo as Sipowitz's brother in this movie. He was the airport police Sergeant Vito Lorenzo, the total dick with the car. And you also have Colm Meaney as a pilot of one of the planes, an unfortunate pilot.
Yeah, I recognized him too. I was like, is that Colm Meaney in like a nothing role in 1990? Okay.
Totally out of the blue. You know, he must have been done doing his whatever Star Trek thing. Just took a little role there. That's all I got. There's a lot of people in this, and I could go on a little more, but
the T-1000 is in it.
Oh my God, young Robert Patrick.
Yes.
I didn't that
young. This is only like the year before Terminator 2, isn't it?
But was this his first role? It must have been a very
I don't know about
role.
that.
I didn't look up
because he has no lines or relevance or anything. He may have a line or two, but he's not relevant.
Yeah, he said something like, "What do I look like?" And he goes, "You look like a sitting duck."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But he gets a pretty good death, right? He gets that big grate knocked on him and then shot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he does have a good death. Yeah.
All right, so you want to get into what the heck this movie? This is a big movie, man. There's a lot going on.
Was this substantially longer than Die Hard? Because it felt like it. I didn't recall Die Hard being a 2-hour movie.
I don't remember how long Die Hard was, but this was just over 2 hours. You could look it up. What I think is halfway to 3/4 of the way through the movie, and I look at the time, and I'm only 30 minutes into it.
Oh no, the first Die Hard is longer than this.
Was it really?
Yeah, the first Die Hard is 2 hours and 11 minutes. I think this one was 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Well, they did a lot better stuff in the first one. And
the first one felt more economical.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It was a tight plot. I'm not really giving away what I think of this because we'll do that at the end with our ratings. But it totally felt long to me. Like literally, I was 30 minutes into it, and I thought I was at least halfway through. So much happens. So basically, how's this thing start?
It starts with McClane getting towed.
Yeah, right. You see the Virginia license plate.
And he's getting towed, and it's Christmas again, which is stunning to me that they released this in summertime. I mean, why wouldn't you wait until the Christmas season to release this movie? And there's always the is Die Hard a Christmas movie argument. And I said to the first one, yes, but like this one, Christmas seems to play less of a role. They're not constantly playing Christmas music, but still, you're setting it at Christmas. Snow is a huge point in the plot. Why wouldn't you release this in the winter?
I don't know. Well, they actually, it was delayed a little bit. I don't know how, like it was delayed maybe a month. They had planned on releasing it a little earlier, but still, no, you're totally right. Because Christmas is a part of it. There's not a lot of the music, but you know, it's a key plot point that it is Christmas and it's a very busy airport and stuff like that. Yeah, so his car is getting towed, and he has a little moment with Vito Lorenzo saying, "Hey, you know, professional courtesy or whatever." And that guy
shows him that he's just from Los Angeles, and Vito doesn't care.
Yeah, he don't care. He's a total dick, that guy. Yeah, and he comes up like 2 or 3 more times in the movie, and every time he's just got that face where he looks at you and he smiles, and you just want to punch him.
Yeah.
So what do we find out? This to me, it's hard to keep track of all the stuff going on in this, but I think we learn through like some TV like snippets that we either hear on maybe the radio or on the TV that someone's watching, that there is that military leader Ramon Esperanza is headed for Dulles, right? He's headed for Dulles Airport. And then we also
burying the lead that we learned this while naked William Sadler is doing Tai Bo.
Yeah,
or Tai Chi or something. Tai Chi, Tai Bo. He's doing like some kind of like, you know, martial arts, slow motion, shifting around, but he's completely naked while a TV is on in the background giving us the exposition that we need for the movie. Yes.
Exactly. That's what it was. So why is it that all naked guys who are really buff are bad guys?
It reminded me of Mallrats, where Michael Rooker does the same thing. Like he's completely naked in front of a TV or a radio in Mallrats, and I don't know if Mallrats was imitating Die Hard 2 or not, but
and also in the movie Angel.
Okay,
I forget who the actor was. Same deal. Like it's a guy lifting weights. He's like sweaty and naked and really cut. And these guys are all bad guys. I don't think there's ever been a good guy that was like working out or something in any movie. But anyway, I was surprised at William Sadler. I mean, that guy was cut. He was ripped.
Yeah.
I'd never really thought of him as, you know, that type of physique. But
no, he looks good in this movie. Good for him, man. I've never in my life did I look as good as he does naked. So good for him.
Yeah, right. I think then it goes on. We see the couple guys kill like a caretaker of a church. So they're setting
the
up
their seems weird early in the movie. I was having a hard time placing what was going on because I was like, this whole movie's about an airport, but 10 minutes in, we segue off to this church and these people kill a pastor at a church. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't know what this has to do with anything.
Yeah. And I guess the parish, the congregation is gone. Like they don't come back. They're not worried about anybody coming there. There was a sign on the outside said something about future home of some daycare.
Oh, okay.
But
I know the pastor inside talks about the church is closing because he delivers the line like, I feel like part of me is dying with this church. And that's when they shoot him.
Yeah, of course. And like, well, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do that. And then I guess we see Stuart walking through. We see a whole bunch of things going on in the airport, right? We see the lady reporter, and she's picking people out left and right. She's got an eagle eye. And then McClane is there. I don't know. He just goes in there, I guess, while his car is impounded, and he's just going in waiting for his wife.
Yeah, he's waiting for her flight to land. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it weird because I don't know. And the airports I've been in, it's not like you go in the airport to hang out to wait for people. I'm usually outside, but whatever.
You know what? The Pittsburgh International Airport, when it was built like as a mall out at the terminals. It was built for like people to come in and spend their day there and what have you. And then obviously 9/11 happened and now you can't do that.
No, you can't do that, right?
But yeah, I think originally some airports were anyway. I've only ever been to Dulles once in my life and I hated it.
Yeah, I have been to Dulles, but it's been a long time. Everything's, I'm sure, different now. So then what do we see? What does McClane see happening in the airport?
Well, he sees two of Colonel Stewart's guys going through the airport, and he like eagle eyes that one of them has a gun. Like he just barely sees this guy has a gun walking through the airport, so he starts following them. They go into some restricted area that I'm not sure how they had access to, but they had access to this restricted area, and McClane has to get the janitor guy to swipe the key and let him in so he could keep following them.
Okay, yeah, that's right. And then they go in. He's like, "What do I do now?" He's like, "Call the police or call security or whatever it was." Then he has a pretty decent shootout in that conveyor maze. I don't know that conveyor system would be right there in the middle of like the food court. That seems a little weird. Yeah, he has a witty line with the guys, and then of course there's the ducking behind the conveyors, and he's fighting. One of them gets away, right?
Yes, yeah, one of them gets away. McClane kills the other one. He like crushes the guy's head in some machinery of some
sort. That's right.
But the other guy does get away because during the fracas, McClane loses his badge and his gun.
Yeah, and that comes back too in a weird way that I didn't quite understand. Yeah, that's right. So he's fighting the guy, and I guess there's these crushing rollers that can literally crush a man's skull.
Yeah, because that's how McClane wins the fight.
But yeah, that's what happens. Yeah.
Also, and then shout out to this. Like this fight scene we're talking about is 13 minutes into the movie. They waste no time getting to an action set piece in this movie.
Yes, that's what I meant when I said like I was a half an hour into the movie and I felt it was half over.
Yeah,
because they've already had so many things going on and action and you meet all the characters by then already. Yeah, so he does kill that guy, and I think I don't know. He leaves. He's chasing the other guy. Something happens, right? Oh, does he? So he gets knocked out or something.
McClane?
Yeah, he's in there and fighting, and then I think he gets knocked out or he loses his gun, like you said already. But then he wakes up, and there's like some police over him, and they're like trying to figure out who this guy is. I don't know. It's all confusing.
Oh, McClane is chasing the guy, and they get into like a scuffle, and the security barges in, and they all aim their guns at McClane, allowing the other guy to get away.
Yeah.
And McClane's like, "Hey, wrong guy, idiots!" But by that point, it's too late. The other guy's already gotten away.
And somehow the cops in there have found his badge and gun.
Yeah, there's no way they were finding those in all that luggage that was scattered about from the fight they had. There's no way they were finding a small badge and a gun in there.
Yep. So then he's back out, right? And he's back in the airport. And
this is where we get introduced to Dennis Franz.
Yeah, so he goes to Dennis Franz, and man, I like Dennis Franz. That guy can yell and really get on your nerves. Man, oh man, he seems so high and mighty. I don't know about you, but is he at the same level as just like a cop or a detective? He's airport security. Is he a real cop? And I don't mean to offend anybody who might work in airport securities or whatever, but it doesn't seem like he has the authority or,
Yeah, we didn't have the Department of Homeland Security in 1990. So, like, was this guy essentially just a mall cop? I don't know. I don't know how seriously they took airport security in 1990. Obviously, in 11 years, a lot of things would change. But for 1990, I don't know if this guy was basically just a glorified mall cop or not.
Yeah, he seemed to wield a lot of power for a glorified mall cop. And he's out even like later in the movie when the military unit is on their mission. He's like out there walking beside him, like, why
Yeah.
is this guy out here? But yeah, so I think this is around the time where he spies the dead guy who's very bloody. It looks like his face was peeled off or something, and he's just like getting his fingerprints.
Yeah,
And-
McClane goes up to like the budget rental car part of the airport, and he steals the lady's ink pad and a piece of paper so he could get fingerprints on the dead guy. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then he somehow faxes them in because he's making real sweet on that lady.
Yeah.
And he faxes him in to his old buddy, right? From
Al.
From Al, yeah.
Al
From Die Hard.
Powell, which is a hard name to say.
Al Powell. Al Powell. Yeah, it is hard. What was the report on those fingerprints of that?
The report is that
supposed
fingerprints
airport
guy.
security?
Yeah, he died 2 years ago in like a military mission of some sort in somewhere in Central America. He was reported as dead 2 years prior, but obviously there he was at the airport, not dead.
It seems like a really, really convoluted conspiracy going on here.
Yeah, it's a cheap enough way, I guess, for McClane to figure out that this is like a military conspiracy kind of thing going on, and these people he's going up against are ex-military or what have you. But yeah, it seems that plot point kind of gets dropped for a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's what it is. So he already knows that Sipowicz doesn't want him around. He's already told Sipowicz, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. He's like, hey, get the fuck out of here. You know, I don't care what you did in Nakatomi Plaza. But then he goes, so Sipowicz is up in the air traffic control tower, and somehow McClane gets in there. I don't think anyone can just walk into that tower, right? Like,
No,
how does that happen?
He just follows Sipowicz and like nobody stops him.
All right. Yeah, so he's talking to him. So that's Ed Trudeau, the real life presidential candidate guy. And then they start talking about this weird dead man cover up and the drug lord coming. And this is where we first meet the engineer Barnes. What do you think of him?
I liked him as a character. I felt like they were trying to make him the more full-time Al in this movie, like he was John McClane's black sidekick in this movie. And yeah, they were trying too hard to make him that character, but I liked his character. He was interesting. He gets into a firefight later on in the movie where the T-1000 dies. And no, he was interesting enough. I wish he had a little bit more to do because he kind of fades away in the back half of the movie. He's more relevant in the first half, but he was good for a while.
And I liked him. Yeah, he was smart. He was thinking outside the box. He came up with like 2 brilliant ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good character. Is it this point when the lights go out, or is that later?
Yeah, no, it's while they're in the tower right here. I have power goes out on the runway. They call a code red, and then McClane gets kicked out of the flight control tower after all.
Oh, that's right. Because Trudeau seemed to me like he was sort of taking what McClane was saying and like absorbing it. But then all of a sudden he's kicked out.
Yeah, people keep changing their minds on McClane on this movie. Sometimes they're digging him, and other times they're like, no, you're not supposed to be here. It feels very wibbly wobbly on whether anybody in this movie is on his side or not.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is also when Colonel Stewart, does he contact him at this point and tell him all the demands that he has?
Yes.
Yeah. So what does he want? He wants clearance for Esperanza's plane, right? And uninterrupted. You know, you got to let him land. And then he wants a 747, like put on a runway or in a hangar or something for their own escape afterwards.
Yes, all fueled up and ready to go. Kind of like the stereotypical ransom stuff you see in movies where they're like, I want a fully fueled airplane.
Yeah.
That's what he asks for. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what everyone asks for. But in reality, does that ever work? Is that ever going to work, or has it ever worked?
I can't imagine it would ever work out that way. Yeah, you're not getting an airplane. And if you did, how many people have someone in their crew that can fly an airplane?
Right. It just seems so unreasonable, but people keep asking for it in movies. I don't get it. Trudeau orders all the planes to just, fly in circles, basically. Right. And,
Yes.
a lot of them are going to run out of fuel eventually. And then McLean, I guess he knows about this and he's worried. Obviously, his wife is still up in the air. Oh, and have we mentioned the whole wife in the air yet? And who she
I don't think
encounters
so,
on her
no.
plane?
Yeah. Yeah, she's on one of these planes that's now circling Dulles because the runway's been shut down and nobody can land. So she was coming into town. We mentioned he was in the airport waiting for her plane to land. So I guess we kind of hinted at it. But yeah, she's on the plane with William Atherton's character. And he's like, hey, she assaulted me in the last movie. And, just happy coincidence that they're on the same plane together.
Yeah, he seems so, I don't want to say wishy-washy, but he just seemed so weird in this, in there. And like, he's complaining at the lady that,
He wants to be in first class.
Restraining order. He wants to be in first class. He's got a companion, who's probably in first class. He's just such a whiner. But yeah, and eventually it does go back and forth, but if we stay in that airplane for a while, he does notice, he looks out the window, he's like, why are all those planes flying out? Why can I see so many planes circling around? She makes comments about his aftershave and his breath and just all these stupid back and forths. I guess you got to do something to show him. And then his companion, what does his companion have that's useful to them?
Some kind of device. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's some kind of device that he can tinker with. So it starts picking up the messages from the flight tower, which I was confused because the flight tower, Colonel Stewart shuts down the flight tower's communication so they can't talk to any of the airplanes.
Right.
But there is some background signal that just beeps so that the planes know
like
that they're
beacon.
Over. Yeah,
right.
Like a beacon, so that they know they're over the airport. The good guys end up tapping into that to communicate with the airplanes, and Atherton's minion has a device that allows him to listen into that. So while they're circling in the air, he ends up tapping into what the flight tower is telling the airplanes, and he finds out about the terrorists and everything.
And of course, it
gets very convoluted with Atherton's character, and
it really does.
I was fine with Holly being on the airplane, but Atherton's character being up there is just, it's too much of a, hey, look, it's that guy from the first movie. He shouldn't have been there. That's one of those things where if you take him out of this movie, very little really changes, except for Holly finds out she's in danger instead of just being like, oh, I'm just circling on an airplane.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And they probably could have saved, 10 minutes by just eliminating that and all those interactions. But again, that communication beacon thing that you're talking about, that was also devised by engineer Barnes. Right.
Yes.
So that was one of the really good things. And prior to that, we spoke about it a little, is his first idea is, we have this communication antenna array. We can go get that and communicate. And that's when they meet up with the Stewart's crew with the Terminator.
And they have the
that
second
big fight
shootout action sequence of the movie.
Yeah. So we get past those two things. And then as an example, because he's like, all right, you killed my guys. Now I have to make an example and show you how serious I am. And what does Stewart then cause to happen?
Well, because he has control of the flight tower's communications, he contacts one of the planes that he knows is the lowest on fuel. And he's like, hey, you guys can land. It's totally cool. Just go ahead and land. But he tells them the wrong altitude or something so that instead of hitting the runway, they just crash into the ground.
Yeah. The way I think they said it, like, we lowered the sea level.
Yes. Yeah.
So by by lowering the sea level, that in essence raises the runway by whatever it was, like 200 feet.
200 feet, I think.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. And of course, there's no visibility, right? There's a snowstorm. And so
this is where the snow most matters, because
yes,
if it hadn't been snowing that day, I don't know what the terrorist plan was, because the planes would have seen the runway and just landed.
You're so right.
The terrorists needed it to be snowing that day so these planes couldn't land.
Yep, that's right.
But it also has to be the day that this general is flying in. So it's just a really bad coincidence for the good guys that they're flying this general in the middle of a snowstorm.
It's a confluence of coincidences, and I think I mentioned something like that in the rating in the end. So but that's a pretty cool scene, regardless of how unrealistic it is. And this is where Colm Meaney is the pilot.
Yes.
And so basically, if you haven't seen it, you can't see, because there's so much snow that you can't see the runway. But so you're just relying on your computer to tell you the altitude. So you're still flying down trying to get to the runway, but all of a sudden there's like a clearing, or the windshield wipers work for 1 second and they literally see the runway right in front of their plane, and they're still just descending. They're not ready to land, they're just descending. And of course they try and pull up, but in a spectacular plane, the plane just like right down onto the runway, and everything just falls apart. And it is a pretty brilliant scene.
And before all this happened, McClane goes running, booking it out to the runway.
Oh, that's right.
Two flaming sticks, and he's trying to wave the plane down and get the plane to see him so that it doesn't crash into the ground. But the plane goes over his head and it doesn't see him, and the plane crashes. And one of my favorite parts about this movie is McClane is supposed to be the everyman. He's just a guy who finds himself caught up in these situations, and he's the guy who's going to end up saving the day. What I liked here is when he fails to save the plane, he just fucking cries. Like, that's a real reaction. Right. Like he breaks down and starts crying because he couldn't save this plane from crashing. And I thought, like, that's such a good reaction, because in the 80s in action movies, you didn't see Schwarzenegger cry. You didn't see Sylvester Stallone cry. You didn't see Jean-Claude Van Damme cry. But Bruce Willis, I mean, it's not like an extended scene of him sobbing or anything, but like he has a little breakdown here because he tried to save this plane and he just couldn't do it, and all these people die.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way when I saw it, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
like that's the reaction a real person would have in that situation.
Yep, he's going through, and it's got to be, what is that, one of 3 times in the movie where he's like flown over by a plane, like very closely. Yeah. So we're at this point, we're probably only 45 minutes into the movie, right? There's still a lot to go. So let's just try to barrel through the rest of this. So eventually we see Esperanza's plane come in, right? He goes in there, and what is the one thing that you wouldn't think that is a smart thing to do on a plane?
Fire a gun.
Yeah, or shoot the pilot.
Yeah. But Esperanza, again, it's one of those convenient things. He can fly planes.
He can fly a plane, right? So that happens, and he also shoots through the windshield.
Yes.
And depressurizes the plane. So now he can't land where they tell him to land. So he lands, and once again, Bruce Willis is out there. Is this the time where he was under the grate?
Yes.
Or was that the next?
Right. No, that was this time right here. Because when Esperanza is landing, he's coming out of a grate on the ground, and he gets stuck in the grate, and it looks like the plane's going to run him over, but he gets out of the way in time.
Yeah. Now, I don't remember how big Dulles Airport is, but he seems to know exactly where to go underground, where to come up in every landing strip. And
well, he makes friends with the janitor, and there's a janitor at Dulles who has maps of everything, and that's how he gets where he's going the whole movie. Is he keeps going up to this janitor and asking for maps.
Yeah, and he's really got a pretty good categorizing system,
Yeah,
right.
they're
Yeah.
all alphabetized. Yeah.
Yeah. So he does that. So he gets McLean, or he gets Esperanza's plane in a friend. Esperanza's killed everybody on board, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
in a funny scene when he comes out, I don't know how he gets up there, but Bruce Willis is able to jump up and like just punch him and sort of knock him backwards or whatever, take him by surprise. But of course, Stewart's group comes, takes him away. Willis is still in the plane, and they shoot the hell out of it, right?
Yeah, they shoot the hell out of the plane. And in my notes here, this was one of the other humanizing moments for McClane, because he just starts screaming in desperation while they're shooting up the cockpit. And he's just, it's like a moment of fear. And again, it's like, okay, this is a real human emotion from this character. I dig that.
Yeah, he had a couple of moments where he lets out this sort of yelpish sort of scream.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that too. But I don't know how long grenades take to detonate, but it doesn't. I don't think it's as long as it took in this movie.
No, they have some real delayed reaction grenades they throw at McClane, because they flood the cockpit with like 9 or 10 grenades.
Right. It's not like
they're just sitting
take
there
one
for a
and
while.
throw it out, but you're not going to get all of them.
Yeah. And
they
they're
are
just sitting there for a while. Yeah. McClane has time to get into the pilot seat, buckle himself in, find the ejector button, and get himself the heck out of there before the grenades blow up. But it takes a while before the grenades blow.
Yeah, it does. And that must be fun to be ejected out, right? And during an explosion, and then hit the parachute. So what happens after that? So they go, and that's when they go back to their base, right? The church.
Yeah, that's when the bad guys go back to the church, and that's when McClane figures out that, this part of the land of the airport goes over this church. So that must be, I think he and Barnes figure this out looking at the maps. They figure out that must be where the bad guys had the ability to shut off the power to everything.
That's right. Yeah. Barnes told him exactly where that would be. He figured it out. He figures out a lot of stuff. He's kind of like the unsung hero of this movie. At some point prior to all this action, Good Times shows up, right, with his crew of merry men. And turns out that Stewart used to be in his platoon.
Yes.
Right. And so he comes in with a bunch of military guys, and they have fights with Bruce Willis's character, but none of that really matters. They end up eventually going to the church. And there's a I don't want to say funny scene, but there's a very noticeable scene where he's in this transport, right, with all his men surrounding him, and every one of them puts on a white mask.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets this look. He just like cocks his head and looks at him. He gets a look in his eyes like, I'm surrounded by a bunch of white guys in masks. And it's very noticeable in the movie, and it caught my attention. But then they get to the church, and what happens at the church?
Well, they have a shootout with the guys in the church, but the bad guys in the church all escape unscathed on snowmobiles that they have parked out back. So they all escape away on snowmobiles, and McClane grabs one of the military guys' guns, and he absconds on his own snowmobile that he finds.
Right. That's right. And they seem to be snowmobiling over a frozen lake. Right? Because
I just assumed it was the road.
Okay, I thought I saw a lot of water movement and stuff, so maybe I was just confused. But you don't see a lot of snowmobile scenes in movies, so that was pretty good snowmobile scene. I don't know if he's taking them out one by one, but I know he has a one-on-one with one of the guys, and he's like shooting right at him. But what's going on? Like nothing's happening to the guy he's shooting at, right?
Yeah, nothing's happening to the guy, and McClane even notes, like, I had him in my sights. I know I did. And then he checks the bullets for the gun that he has, and he realizes they're blanks.
And then that whole scene with him with blanks comes into play later when he's back in the airport.
Yeah,
he scares
the military guys are against us. They're actually here with Colonel Stewart, and they're going to turn on us and fly away with the bad guys.
Yeah, this is where I'm start losing my perception of what happened. But so when Grant comes and goes, so his crew is back. You know, the snowmobiles have already gone by. He's back in the transport with his guys, and something strange happens in there, right?
I don't remember.
When he's in there with his guys, they're joking, and one guy says something in particular. He says,
yeah,
"Oh,
this
I
is
wish
when
I would have served with you earlier."
Yeah, that's when the military guys like explicitly turn heel because the one guy's like, oh, I wish I would have served with you earlier, and Amos again says, oh, I wish you had too, then I wouldn't have to do this, and he cuts the guy's throat.
Yeah, that came as a shock. I'm like, what? So, you know, so many weird things going on in this movie. And where does we're getting towards the end, right?
Oh yeah, we're pretty much right at the end of this now. So McClane goes back and he tells Dennis Franz like, "Hey, look, the military guys are bad guys. Their guns are full of blanks. They never intended to shoot the bad guys." And so he gets Dennis Franz on his side for the first time all movie, and they go out to rush the hangar where the bad guys are, but they get into a car accident because William Atherton is reporting that, you know, hey, terrorists have taken over the airport, so there's mass chaos going on. So Bruce Willis sees the reporter lady and says, like, you have a helicopter. Take me over to that hangar over there.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, so he does that, and so now he's in with the reporter lady and the pilot of the helicopter. He's like, "Get in front of him! Get in front of him!" And the pilot will have nothing to do with it. It's like,
yeah, the pilot's like, yeah, we're in this little helicopter, and they have like a 20-ton airplane. I'm not getting in front of them.
Yeah. So instead, he convinces him to fly over the plane, and so Bruce Willis at that point, or McClane, jumps out of the helicopter onto the wing of the plane. And what is his intention at this point?
I don't know what his intention is, but he jams his jacket into the rudder of the airplane so that the wing can't fold the way it needs to, so it can't take off. But past that, I don't know what his agenda was out on that wing. I don't know what he thought he was going to accomplish. But
it's amazing that you can literally stop an airplane with just your jacket.
Yeah, I don't know if that holds up in court.
Right. So he is out. So you're right. He gets on the plane. So the plane is in motion. Clearly, it's on the runway, not taxiing, getting ready for takeoff. You said,
Amos and Sadler come out to get him.
Right. He sticks his coat in the flap, so now they can't move the flap. So now they can't get the lift that they need. And Amos comes out there first, and they start fighting. I mean, it's pretty cool to see a fist fight, right, on the wing of a plane of a 747 that's moving. So they fight it out, and so he ends up. They fight. They're on the edge of the wing of the plane. Grant goes over the side. He's still holding on to the front edge, the leading edge of the airplane wing, but his legs are dangling where?
Right over the jet, and he eventually gets, suction pulled through the jet, and you get the big blood splatter out the other end.
Yeah, and I can tell you that I know this for a fact that a bird strike can take down a plane, but a body as big as John Amos's doesn't even like make a dent in that engine. Just keeps going. But when he's down there, when Bruce Willis is down there, he notices something on that wing. What is it?
The gas release? Like it's just a knob that you can turn and you can start spilling gasoline out of the engine. I don't know if that holds up in court, if that's how airplanes work, but sure.
Yeah. I'm not sure that holds up in court, but that's what he sees, and he's about to do that, but that's when really buff William Sadler comes out.
Yeah. They have a fight scene. I don't remember what happens to Sadler. Does he just kick McClane off the wing and then go back inside the plane?
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, okay. They're fighting. So he does get the best of Willis in the fight, but Willis is now hanging off the wing, kind of just like Grant was. but at the same time, he knows where that little latch is, and he grabs that latch and releases it while he falls off the wing and rolls away to safety. So he's now laying in the middle of the runway. The plane is still moving down the runway, getting ready to take off, but it's trailing a big stream of jet fuel.
Yes.
And
McClane's
finally,
a smoker, and this is where his smoking finally pays off, I guess.
Right.
I hadn't considered, that it being relevant that he's a smoker, but this is where it pays off because he has a lighter.
Yeah, he has a lighter. And I don't know how fast flame travels compared to jets on a runway, but it traveled fast enough to lick up that whole stream of jet fuel, and in a spectacular, I have to say, fashion. As the plane is leaving the runway, that fire leaps from the ground to the engine, and it's a great scene. I mean, I love that scene.
Yeah, plane blows up, all the bad guys die.
Yep. And then, well, it's not quite over yet, but it's pretty much over at that point. I think, what does he get a ride back to safety? And Marvin, the trusty old janitor Marvin,
yeah,
who lives in the catacombs
he does
of the airport,
the weird-ass basement of the airport. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets him and takes him back to Holly, and then basically that's it. It's over right there.
Well, all the planes in the sky see this trail of gasoline on the ground.
Right.
And they're like, we can see the runway now. We're all going to land like right over top of that flame. And it's, okay, sure, movie. Why not?
Flaming, every single one of them, one after another. And it seemed like the first one stopped short. So I don't know how that's going to work with all the ones behind it. But anyway, so that's it. That's the whole story. So before I get into the box office, I have a little. I didn't go too deep, but I want to try something new, and you're going to be the first one to try it. So
fantastic.
John's not here, so it's going to be you. This idea has been kicking around in my head for a little while. It's a little thing I want to call mistakes were made.
And you blew it!
Okay.
So this could be any kind of mistake, something that you think could have been done better, a plot point, bad casting, or production problems, or even that donut that you ate at work, even though you had 3 bowls of cereal at home, anything at all. So what do you think? What mistakes were made in this film?
What mistakes were made? I'm looking over my notes here, and I don't know if it was a mistake. I don't know if it's what you're looking for, but the scene we talked about where McClane ejector seats out of the cockpit.
Okay.
Like, the effect was terrible. It was the worst looking scene of the entire movie whenever he ejector seats out. And 2, he ejector seats out, the parachute comes up and he starts slowly drifting down to the ground. Why didn't the bad guys just shoot the living hell out of him while he was slowly drifting to the ground? You're
right. They just take off instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Like he's a sitting duck while he's up there. Why don't they just shoot him out of the sky? But they don't. They just leave.
Yeah. No, that totally qualifies for mistakes were made. I want to say, I think it goes on way too long. I think they're just trying to throw in too many plot elements. Yeah. Their decree was to expand on the original, make the plot of the novel more complex. But I think they took that too far. And the worst mistake, I think, in my estimation, is all the suspension of disbelief, the coincidences that you have to overlook to make it believable. It
just happens to be snowing, which, like I said, if it wasn't in the middle of a blizzard, then the planes would have been able to land just fine and the bad guys wouldn't have had any power. Yeah. It's just a huge coincidence that they're bringing the general in during a snowstorm. Otherwise, the bad guy's plan falls apart.
Right. Exactly. The fact that hey, it's Christmas Eve again. His wife's in danger again. I mean, really? They even make a point of calling that out in the movie. Yeah, so at least
the guys.
that.
Yeah, he says like, "How can the same thing happen to the same guy twice?" Yeah,
he says it about himself. All right. So the box office for this.
All you care about is money.
Hey, this wasn't my job today, so I just put this together. I didn't do a lot of research to make sure it's true, but the box office was $70 million. It said 60 to 70. So I'm assuming, maybe 70 and like marketing and stuff like that. And the U.S. weekend says 21.7 million for its first weekend, and domestically pulled in 117 million, and worldwide 240 million.
Okay, so
that's pretty good.
All right.
So on the year, Die Hard came in at number 8. And I'm assuming this is domestic because Box Office Mojo really pisses me off because you can look up domestic and worldwide, and you can sort it different ways. But so many times, and I run across this a lot, I look at the worldwide box office, and it shows me only the domestic box office. But I know because in another area of Box Office Mojo, it shows me the worldwide, and they don't match. So I can almost never believe them anymore. So anyway, Die Hard 2 was number 8. Number 7 was Total Recall. Number 6 was Hunt for Red October. Number 5, John.
And Hunt for Red October was directed by McTiernan, who did the initial Die Hard.
The initial
correct?
Die Hard, right? Exactly. You got it. Number 5 was the one where I came up with what we call in the Pint the bitch clause. So that was a time where
Turtles?
I would drop out from movies because I didn't want to watch them. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was number 5 that year. Number 4, Pretty Woman. Number 3, Dances with Wolves. Number 2, Ghost. Ghost is a good movie. I don't know.
Oh, Ghost is a phenomenal movie. I love Ghost. Yeah.
And number 1, Home Alone.
Home Alone.
285.7 million. All right, let's get into the rating of this.
Let's do it. It's go time.
I want you to go first.
Okay.
What did you think? What would you rate this movie?
So it was really convoluted. It was a lot of stuff was rehashed from the first movie, like down to him saying yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and he spends some time in an elevator shaft and he spends some time in a basement, and even he calls out, like I said, how can this happen to the same guy twice? And it felt like at a lot of points they were just playing the hits from the first movie. That said, I liked that it would have been so easy for them to make the bad guys robbers again and make it another like, oh, look, it's a twist. They're not really terrorists. And in this one, they were just terrorists. That's all it was. And they had a political agenda, and it was fine because they didn't repeat having a stupid twist just for the sake of doing it. Bruce Willis is good in these movies. I like the humanizing aspects of him. I'll stick with my Letterboxd grade, which was 3.5 for this. I thought it was enjoyable. It's a good 90s action movie. It's one I'll probably never revisit, and it is, I think a lot of this movie's problem is that it comes on the heels of Die Hard, which is one of the 5 best action movies ever made, and this isn't a paste on that. So, but I mean, a lot of movies aren't a paste on Die Hard, and you can't knock them all down because of that. This just happens to be Die Hard sequel. So 3.5. It's good. It could be great, and it's not.
All right, I get it. I get you. What would you rate Die Hard?
Oh, Die Hard's a 4.5 out of 5. Okay. And that's only because I've only seen it once. If I watch Die Hard again, I'll probably bump it up to a 5, but I don't give a lot of movies a 5 on one viewing.
Wow, I'm surprised you've only seen it once. I went back to my notes. I thought we did this I thought we did Die Hard maybe like 2 years ago, but I think I had to go all the way back to 2022 to see that. So, and I checked my Die Hard rating, and I did rate it a 5. I've seen it way more than once.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I did give it a 5. I'm sure John gave it a 5 too, because like you said, it's a top-notch action movie. But this movie, it knows what its assignment is, right? It wants to make everything bigger and louder and add more mayhem, and then set it in an airport, because why not? A lot of people in an airport. And it does that. It's definitely entertaining. It's got good action. It does have some pretty spectacular scenes, you know, some good fights, stuff like that, but it just doesn't reach the iconic status of Die Hard, like you said. It just doesn't.
There's nothing in this movie that you come away with remembering forever, like you remember scenes from Die Hard.
Exactly right. I mean, it's got good scenes, and when you watch them, you're like, oh yeah, you got the baggage area stuff, you got the runway crash, the fight on the wing, but none of it, like you said, it doesn't stick with you like forever. And Willis does good. He does well. He brings back his action chops, and I think this pretty much solidified him as an action hero, right? An action star. He's a little less witty in this movie than the first one, I think.
What's his big line in this movie whenever he's talking to the lady at the budget rent-a-car and says, "Just the facts, ma'am," and it's
just the facts, right? So he has a couple of lines, but they're groaners.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So William Sadler as Colonel Stewart, he's not the level of Hans Gruber, but he's a pretty solid villain, right? His physicality, his coldness. I mean, that dude took out a whole plane without even second thought. But he lacks the intellectual prowess, I think, that Alan Rickman gave Gruber. And I know I shouldn't be comparing, just rating it on its own, but I have to compare in this case. And I do like the secondary characters. Frank Nero was pretty good as Esperanza. You didn't get a lot of him, but he was fun to see. And I love Dennis Franz, but fucking A, man, his yelling got on my nerves. Every single scene, I think, is him yelling. And of course, Amos. So it's good to see those guys. But like you said, this movie just lives in the shadow of Die Hard. It won't be remembered. It's not nearly as clever. It's not as tight. That was the thing about Die Hard, right? It had a really tight plot. The one thing that really bugs me about this is it operates. It's based on lots of coincidences.
Yeah.
And that just kind of annoys me that they couldn't come up with something a little better, a little more unique. But I know it sounds negative, but it's a fun movie to watch. But like you said, I'll probably never rewatch it, especially over Die Hard. If I'm going to rewatch a Die Hard movie, it's going to be Die Hard.
Yeah, and if you're not going to watch Die Hard, you're probably going to watch Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah. But I'm going to agree with you. I think 3.5. That's a good score. So, Stu, why don't you tell us about what's going on Stu World Order?
Oh, stuff, I'm sure. No, Stuff and things. No, the Stu World Order podcast, we still review random comic book movies. We've still got all these years into the Stu World Order podcast, we still have 70 movies left on the list that I haven't covered. I think if I recall correctly, I haven't done any of the Iron Man movies, or maybe I did Iron Man 2, but I haven't done 1 or 3.
Oh, wow.
I haven't done a lot of movies. It's surprising all these years in the amount, the types of movies that haven't been pulled or people haven't chosen. So still got a lot of movies to go through before I got to worry about changing up formats. And over at swoproductions.com, we still have new articles every single weekday for the foreseeable future. Anyway, we have fiction, we have movie reviews, we have Pop-Tart reviews still. Someday I'm going to get back to my Buffy watch through, but season 6 is such a drag and I just don't want to watch it. But I have been doing my Buffy the Vampire Slayer first time watch through. I'll get back to it. Season 6
I've never watched
miserable. Oh, it's okay for a while. It was good. It was entertaining. I kept wanting to watch new episodes anyway, but I'm in season 6 now. And it's just I have no desire to keep watching this whenever I could watch a movie instead.
Did you ever rate the blueberry crumble, lemon blueberry crumble.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
The article hasn't released yet, but those are one of the most recent ones they've come out with. I have eaten them and done an article on them.
Okay. Because I bought a box and I still have half of it upstairs right now in my cupboard. I liked the straight up lemon better, personally.
Oh, I've never had straight up lemon. Those ones missed me.
You reviewed it on one of something. You licked it. It was the one that you licked.
Oh, that was I think lemon meringue.
Lemon meringue. There we go.
Yes.
Lemon meringue. Yeah.
They had a bunch of flavors that came out that were like the same as pies. I remember that. Yeah, I did a video review of that. You're right.
Yep. So that's it. Check out the Stew World Order. It's got a lot of stuff going on over there. And we come out weekly on Apple Podcasts, iHeart, all the podcatchers. And on YouTube, it's the Pint, a pop culture podcast, and Instagram, it's at the Pint Pop. Yeah, that's what it is. And of course, you could be a Patreon. You could be a Pint Insider. www.patreon.com/the Pint. And then you get lots of exclusive stuff like 12 Angry Men. We had so much fun doing that. I love that movie. All right. Any last things to say?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Mr. Falcon. Mr. Falcon.
See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!
This is a Patreon exclusive episode for you, the Pint Insider. Thank you for your support. Swearing and spoilers as always. Enjoy the show.
Getting cold feet. Why did they kill Amanda? Why not just kill you?
They can't kill me. They need me.
Why?
My company, the bank, it's a perfect front. It makes everything look great on the tax reports.
Tax reports?
This is big business, Roger.
Not anymore.
All right. Welcome, Pint Insiders, to another episode of the exclusive to you only $2.50 a month club with my good buddies Joe and Shawnee Mack. And we are here to talk about another film celebrating an anniversary. And this is an interesting one because Joe, I'll give you the scoop right now. Joe, who's been so helpful in the last year plus with filling in for Lloyd here and there and doing stuff. He said, hey, look, I'm having a baby, man. And by that, I mean, he's not having a baby himself. His wife is, okay? Calm down, everybody. He's a scientist. He's not a science project. But he said, hey, look, I'm having a baby. I'm going to be kind of less available to the show for a while. So I want to do something. I want to go out with a bang. We had one thing planned initially. It didn't work out. So I said, Joe, pick a movie in that anniversary vibe we've been doing. And he came back and he said, I want to do 87. That's an important year to me. But we've already covered so many good 87s. We did Predator. We did RoboCop. The Lost Boys. So, Joe, tell everybody out there what you came out with and said, I want to do this movie.
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon. The original first one. Now, I said, let's do an episode with Sean. Hadn't had Sean on a little bit. We did the Psycho remake, Triple T, not too long ago with him. And when I said to Sean, let's do Lethal Weapon, you said something that blew my fucking mind, Sean. And first of all, just like let everybody know the year you were born, and then let everybody know what happened here. What's going on?
So, yeah, okay, I was born in 1977. Good year, Star Wars. I hadn't seen Lethal Weapon. I'd seen Loaded Weapon. I thought maybe that counted, but apparently not. I had to see Lethal Weapon. So
I mean, how can you get the satire if you don't get the original?
True, but it's Estevez. He's a comic genius. So there's a couple franchises that I haven't seen. All right, like 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, Lethal Weapon. Larry makes fun of me all the time about this too. I just hadn't seen him, and I hadn't devoted time to watch them. But
it's not even a make fun of it thing. It's like, for me, like, I haven't seen 48 Hours either. I saw the second one, funnily enough. I've never seen the first. But Lethal Weapon, for a kid who would have turned 10 in 87, or would have been 15 within 5 years, just seems like something that there's no way you could have gotten away from not, like, watching with a friend or something. I feel like you had to actively avoid Lethal Weapon. Is that the case? Or was it just, you just didn't see it?
You know, I think in 87, I was too busy cleaning the cube.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. But my dad never rented it.
All right. So, and you made a comment. I just wanted to make sure, too, this was a question I had. You've seen none of the 4, right?
I think I've seen part of one of the... I'll just say yes.
Okay. All right. So,
I don't know which one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know which one that was I saw part of, but...
Was there a toilet?
No.
Okay, that's part 2.
I'm aware of that scene, though.
Okay, part 2 is the toilet. All right, so March 6th of 1987, Sean, about 9 years old probably, thoroughly avoided the release of Lethal Weapon, directed by Richard Donner, who directed the aforementioned The Lost Boys and The Goonies as well. Written by a guy named Shane Black. Shane Black is the 80s in one guy. Essentially, this is one of those guys that just... He started his writing career back then and was a go-to Hollywood must-have writer. He wrote one of Sean's favorite movies, The Monster Squad, and he also wrote The Last Boy Scout a few years after this, which is another big early 90s action film. This script, his original script, which, by the way, first off, his original script he wrote in 1985. He wrote it while he was still in, I think, UCLA writing class. His original script was much darker than what we ended up getting. His original script relied heavily on a lot of backstory or more backstory and flashbacks that would jump into our 2 lead heroes' time in Vietnam. And there was a little bit more depth to it. It was a little more violent and just darker overall. This script was rejected everywhere in Hollywood. Nobody wanted to make this movie. Eventually, another guy who essentially is every 80s action movie in one person, named Joel Silver, who is a huge producer. He produced Commando and Die Hard, and obviously this. He got a hold of the script, and he championed it and brought it to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers said, let's do this, okay? Now, I mentioned before, Richard Donner was the director of the movie. Do you guys read anything? And I never knew this. There's a couple things about this movie which I love. I'm going to say it right off the bat. I love this movie that I didn't know about. Did you guys read about who the first choice for director of Lethal Weapon was?
I did not, because I focus on Richard Donner's other issues. I didn't know if there were any issues with this one. But.
All right. The first guy asked to do this film was Mr. Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy. And he did not feel confident enough to do the action stuff. So instead, he continued to finish working on 3 Men and a Baby, which is the movie he was making at the time that that he was getting prepared to do at the time that they approached him. And then he also went on to do another film, which I'm not familiar with at all, but it's called The Good Mother with Diane Keaton that came out in 1988. That was the movie he made instead of Lethal Weapon. So they asked Nimoy, and he said, I don't think I could do the action stuff that well. They got Donner. They brought Donner on and brought him into the whole thing. Jeffrey Boehm, who we've talked about in past episodes, he wrote The Dead Zone, the adaptation of the Stephen King book, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, was brought on board to lighten up the Shane Black original script. So a lot of the humor that we get, because this is a very humorous or humor infected movie, you know what I mean? It's not a hardcore action movie. There's a lot of jokes, a lot of stuff like that. Jeffrey Boehm came in and did that. Pretty interesting stuff. Joe, before we get too far into anything else and talk more about this, why don't we go through the cast and talk about who is in Lethal Weapon? And a matter of fact, who is the Lethal Weapon?
My God, It's full of stars.
Well, first off, I want to say to all the Pint Insiders that the whole reason we're going to do this episode today is to answer the question, does this movie hold up, or are we too old for this shit?
Oh,
so
okay.
That's our main goal. That's our main goal.
All right. There, right.
And so, first off, we have the Lethal Weapon himself, I assume. Mel Gibson is Martin Riggs. I mean, everyone knows Mel Gibson, Braveheart. He is Mad Max. Little fall from grace, a
little bit.
Renowned anti-Semite, whatever. Looks like he's kind of having a resurgence, and I think there's going to be a Lethal Weapon 5. But I mean, he's had a long career, a lot of good movies. Directed some movies too, comedies, action movies, dramas, whatever you name it.
I will say he's great in Daddy's Home too, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies now.
Yeah,
and I'm not even kidding.
Oh, you're being serious?
I am being serious. That movie is hysterical.
I've never seen either. That's
Daddy's Home one's it's pretty good, but as a Christmas movie, especially like Daddy's Home 2 is fucking hysterical. It really is.
All right, I'll check it out.
I actually enjoyed Get the Gringo, which I think was his first low budget comeback vehicle.
I saw that one. It was okay. It was fine. I wanted more out of it. I've never seen it, but I've heard a lot of people say Father Christmas or something along those lines, where he plays a mall Santa Claus. It's an action movie from a year or so ago. I know I'm getting the name wrong, but Saint Nick maybe is supposed to be really good, but I have not seen it.
Santa's Sleigh, yeah.
Isn't that Goldberg?
It is. He's fucking around.
I actually saw that. Okay, next we have Danny Glover as Roger Murtaugh. He's the series Predator 2. I think that's right. The big one he was in that we don't talk about a Predator. You reviewed Prey the other day, or just dropped that as a recording. Yeah, so I was kind of surprised when he popped up in that. I guess he never really, he's always been acting consistently. He's never been the kind of star he was in the Lethal Weapon movies. So I think maybe that's why it was sort of shocking me to see he popped up in Predator 2. But he's in Witness as a bad guy. And the first time I noticed him was Silverado. Have you ever seen that one?
Yes.
Oh, I actually love Silverado. I haven't seen that forever. That's such a good cast. He's in that. And then I'd forgotten he was in Saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Danny Glover plays a 50-year-old guy in this movie. He's 40 in it. And Mel Gibson plays a 38-year-old guy, even though they never say it in the movie. His character is supposed to be 38. He's 29 going on 30 while they were filming this. By the way, do you notice as you get older, do you lose touch sometimes with how people look at their age? Does Mel Gibson look 30 in this in any way, shape, or form? No fucking way.
No.
Right? No.
Do you think I think he looks older. You think he looks younger?
No, older. Of course older.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, because I was going to bring a whole thing about the age. I find it ridiculous that, they're so much older than they actually are in real life. I mean, I think Danny Glover might have been 44. I'm not quite sure. 40,
no, I think 40.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'll double check it, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but no. I'm pretty sure he was 40 turning 41, and Gibson was 29 turning 30. A hard 29.
They made a joke about that in the beginning, didn't they? Because he shaves his beard.
Yeah.
And he actually looks older without the beard. And one of the cops say, hey, you look younger with the beard.
Sean, can I ask you a question? So to jump into the movie real quick during the casting part, there's a scene in the beginning that we get the two characters and the dichotomy of their lives, right? Mel Gibson, the Riggs character, his wife was killed recently in a car crash. He is on the edge. Nobody can figure out whether he's a psychotic trying to gain pension from the police department, or he's really just on the edge. We see a horrifying suicide attempt, which is it's still hardcore. Like, it's super hardcore, that scene. And actually that scene got Franco Zeffirelli, the guy that directed Hamlet a few years later. That's the scene that convinced him that Gibson could play Hamlet, was the scene where he puts the gun in his mouth. But anyways, and then we see this pretty happy household that Murtaugh has, with his 3 or 4 kids, his wife's a bad cook. They make a lot of jokes. But my question to you, Sean, is as a guy with some teenage kids, at any point, do your kids just get to hang out in the bathroom while you're in the bathtub? All around you? Is that I'm not making fun of it because I just didn't feel that felt normal to me. He's in the bathtub and the entire family breaks in, and there he is just laying in bathtub water with his dick hanging out, and all of his kids are sitting on the tub and I love you, Daddy. I'm like, that doesn't seem right to me.
And he's got a 6 and 8-year-old kid too in there.
Yeah.
No, that's not certainly not normal.
Okay.
Maybe in a happy household that happens. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But all I know is when I'm in the bathroom, the kids are not allowed within a 10-foot radius. So
I'm sure you have a very happy household. I can't imagine it being that happy. I can't imagine anybody's household being that okay with that kind of stuff. All right, Joe, I'm sorry. Continue with the cast.
I can tell you I have to lock doors to keep my daughter from busting in on me in the shower, but
yeah,
whatever. So we have, of course, Gary Busey as Joshua or Mr. Joshua. He's actually had a long career before he went crazy.
Yeah,
this is really good stuff. He did, played Buddy Holly in the Buddy Holly story. I feel like that was supposed to be a really serious role for him. Of course, Point Break, Silver Bullet. I'm sure you've probably seen that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it a long time. I think I've seen it. Also in Predator 2.
Yep.
So obviously, was it Marion Doherty casting that one too? I don't know. One thing I noticed here is Eye of the Tiger, which I only mentioned because I saw it on IMDb. It always cracked me up that they had a movie about a song from another movie.
Oh, he's in a movie about the song Eye of the Tiger?
It's called Eye of the Tiger, which of course is from the song.
Oh, okay.
That's the only way they got that title from that. But it's like the standard guy gets out of prison or comes back from Vietnam and his town has been taken over by criminals and he has to save it. I just laugh. I've never seen it, but every time I see that, I'm like, how'd they make a movie based on the song title?
We can't forget also that he played Duke Savage in Black Sheep. He is the in the woods, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, Sean, what were you going to say?
So that wasn't an expression before Rocky? Or wherever the song came out? Sorry, I don't know.
I think so. I just say it's the only thing. I mean, do you know the Eye of the Tiger? I'm sure it was around, but
I'm not sure it was a phrase
that put on the radar.
Yeah, if that was a phrase before Rocky, then it has now regenesised itself to being brought on by Rocky.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It owes some royalties.
Yeah.
It's owed some, yeah.
So then we have not a super famous character. Mitchell Ryan is the General or General McClintock. He did a whole bunch of TV. I guess he was in Judge Dredd. Maybe you remember him from that?
He's the guy that Judge Dredd gets framed for killing, the reporter.
Oh, okay. And then Grosse Point Blank, he's the dad. That's what I know him as most. And he was like the dad on Dharma and Greg. But apparently he did like every TV show known to man between 1970 and Falcon Crest. So
yeah, he just died this year.
Yeah,
very recently,
as I said, yeah. And then, of course, I think a Pint favorite, Tom Atkins.
Yes.
I forgot he was in this. I forgot. There's two things. I'll be honest with you. I've seen Lethal Weapon 20 times in my life.
Me too.
Couple things that I forget every single time. Number one, that Tom Atkins is in this at all. Number two, and this is going to sound funny, even this time now, I can never remember what the base plot of Lethal Weapon is until I watch it again. So, like, I know it's about them meeting for the first time. I know that his friend's daughter dies in the beginning, but I never remember it's Air America CIA Corporation that used to sell heroin. That whole thing is out of my head every fucking time. And then when I see it again, I go, what is doing this again? Joe, am I wrong? Does this stick with you or do you forget this plot every time?
No, it actually to make this point, it does stick with me because this is part of the reason I like it so much is that I think, all the 80s, right? And so you and I were young. All of us were young. I think a lot of the movies and TV shows, at least that I like, seem to be focused on the aftermath of Vietnam and what it did to some of the people because, this one, all the Vietnam War movies they had, and then they had my favorite show of all time is Miami Vice, and they had two vets that were characters, and then Magnum PI. And so to me, it had such an outsized effect to me on the movies and TV shows of the time that's part of what I really liked about this movie. Was that all that kind of aspect. So I never forget that.
It's good. It's well written. It's just, I never remember. I always remember that Lethal Weapon 2 is about South African, diplomats and Krugerrands. I always remember that. Lethal Weapon 1, when I watch this again in 2 years, I'm going to go, what the fuck is the plot of this movie again? Like, what are the bad guys doing?
So anyway, Tom Atkins, I think you've probably seen more things with him than I have. I've only seen Halloween 3 and this. Lethal Weapon, but I've never seen Maniac Cop, which I should probably watch in Night of the Creeps.
Night of the Creeps is great.
Yeah.
Maniac Cop is not super great. It's okay. It's okay. Sean, quick question for you.
Yeah.
You're chilling out, right? You're chilling out in your palatial estate. You're in a suit and a tie. It seems like maybe there was a funeral at your house. The Tom Atkins character's daughter had died. You're hanging out. Do you drink eggnog out of are you drinking eggnog out of the carton? Is that refreshing? Is that a refreshing drink to you?
I guess it depends on what you mix it with, but he sure did have multiple cartons there. Wait, what did I say? 20 of them there by the window?
Is he on a bender? Is he okay? Like, what do his intestines look like?
So I'm not a huge drinker. Is eggnog and vodka or eggnog and rum or something?
It certainly is, but he
he
seems to just be drinking eggnog. Like, and when he gets
killed,
Christmas. It is Christmas, and that's going to lead to a question at the end of this, by the way, that I want you guys to be prepared for.
Oh,
but
I'm ready.
You got to be ready for this one.
I'm very ready.
All right, so I just wanted to make sure. I have a
quick Tom Atkins story too.
Yeah,
so we had him at Horror Fest a couple years ago, our second year in Danbury, and he's one of these guys that says his full. This isn't a great story, but I think it's funny. He's one of these guys that says his full name when he introduces himself. Just say, "Hey, I'm Tom. How are you?" No. Elevator opens. I'm supposed to show him to his table. Elevator opens. It's just him. He's looking at me. Sees my badge. He goes, "Sean." I go, "Yeah." "Tom Atkins." Like, wow, sir. He looks the same as he did 30, 40 years ago. So he's kind of very recognizable.
Oh, yeah.
So you didn't have to say your name, let alone your full name to me, for me to realize who you are, sir.
Well, I think you sort of immediately give that to celebrities, right? Like, what are they? They know you know them, but they're trying to be normal, maybe.
Yeah, but it's just say, "Hey, I'm Tom." Yeah. Hey, don't pause for 5 seconds and go, "Tom Atkins."
Is Tom Atkins also the one who Larry told me a story once made him go get him coat hangers?
Yes.
Something like that.
I heard that on an episode one. Yeah,
he ran out of stuff at his table. Yeah.
Go get me some coat hangers. Here's $6 or whatever. This is the delineation line for how Tom Atkins looked in movies. So, like, you got, kind of this in Night of the Creeps. So up until Halloween 3, you still had brown hair Tom Atkins. But right around the time of Night in the Creeps and Lethal Weapon, that's when he went gray. And this is the Tom Atkins that we all know to this day. Like, if you see him, like Sean said, I remember I was at that show. I saw him live. I'm like, oh, he still looks like, a little older, but gray hair, mustache, none of that's changing.
That's his look.
All right, Joe, who else we got?
Well, I'm actually going to have one more mention is this Jackie Swanson as Amanda Hunsaker.
Yeah.
And I mention her because she's Kelly Boyd from Cheers. She's and I was like kind of surprised by that. And she was also randomly, apparently it listed her credits that she's the girl with Raspberry Beret in
the Prince video.
Prince video. And I'm actually impressed she made like the leap from doing basically porn in this movie to Cheers. And I was thinking as a similar example how Julie McCullough got dumped off of Growing Pains because Kirk Cameron was a jerk. And she did a Playboy and got the boot off the show where this, Hollywood was nice to Amanda Hunsaker or Jackie Swanson and gave her a nice job on Cheers where she was wholesome. So you can actually switch careers, but I always felt bad for Kelly McCullough or Julie McCullough.
It's actually funny that you bring that up with making a leap. So the movie begins with, Jingle Bell Rock, and we get this giant, skyscraper, and the Hunsaker character, she's high out of her mind. And, we get a titty shot right away. She's laying on bed, shirt's unbuttoned, looking good, by the way. And, she's so high, she ends up getting up on top of this, on top of her balcony, and she falls, right? And she dies. She ends up committing what looks like suicide. I knew that she was Kelly from Cheers from day one. I've always known she was Kelly from Cheers, which was a great storyline. If you remember Henri, the French guy that was going to take Woody, I'm going to steal your girlfriend, Woody. But what I didn't know until doing this episode, which is one of the great things about doing a podcast is, I always felt like I was a pretty good trivia guy, but when you really start digging, you find out so much more. And I verified this in 3 different places. She fucking made that jump. She didn't make the full jump, I don't think, but it said 40 feet of it was her. That's the way they were able to make the end of it look so real, is because it's not a stunt person. So whoever jumps off the top of the building is a stunt person. But as soon as it cuts from her falling, facing the camera down, it's her. And they I never heard of this before. They made a balloon on the ground, which they land in, but they painted it or sewed it, however, to look like cars and the road. So they are able to keep her in focus until the second before she hits that. When she hits that, they change the angle. Someone else or a dummy hits the car, and then it's her laying on the car. But they said she was trained to do that jump backwards 40 feet in the air. That's fucking crazy. Yeah.
I read that too, and that's one of the pieces of trivia I caught was, and then kind of look at it, you can tell it's like a little bit. I never noticed it before because they have the good sound effects of the crashing car.
Right.
You can sort of see it's like landing on a beanbag or something. A little if you look closely.
Dude, as somebody who's afraid of heights, that opening scene is harrowing.
Oh yeah,
because you know what she's doing the whole time. It slowly builds up to it. And you're just like, don't, just stop. Turn around now. What are you doing?
So from a first-time perspective to like a 30th or whatever time perspective, Sean, was your butthole clinched up when you realized that, A, not only is she getting on top of the railing and there's no more guard railing, but she's in high heels. Like, This is the worst. Like, even if you change your mind, you're in fucking trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you can slip. You can change your mind and just slip.
Right.
Oh, God. These dudes on YouTube that, like, these urban... not archaeologists, but I forgot. There's these guys that climb the skyscrapers, like the Chrysler Building. They'll go out on the head of the, whatever the animal is there, and just stand there on top of it, like no wires, like just stand there. That stuff gives me nightmares.
Have you seen the trailer for this new movie called Fall yet?
No, and I'm kind of sounds like I don't want to.
I will shut my mouth and I will just say. You and in all honesty, the audience will probably have seen this by the time this comes out. The movie will probably be out. When you're done tonight, Sean, go on YouTube and look up Fall. And for a guy like you, and who I also feel the same way, it's fucking nightmare-inducing. It's absolutely nightmare-inducing. All right, so is that it for Castro? Is that all as far as you're going?
That is good. Right. That's all I got. Unless you want to have random people in there, I don't think there are anybody of note.
Nah, we'll skip over that. Can you just before I forget though? What was the budget on this film? $15 million? Was that what it was?
Yep, that's what I saw.
Okay, so $15 million. All right, so we set this up. The Hunsacker girl character, she has been doing some bad things. She's getting into a little bit of porn, doing a little bit of blow, which, let's be honest, we were all doing blow in the 80s. Every one of us here had a bad habit at 9, 10, 12 years old. She jumps to her death. And we already described, we have Martin Riggs, the suicidal narcotics cop, and then Roger Murtaugh, who is, the just turned 50 homicide cop. They get brought together because nobody wants to work with Riggs. Let's talk real quick about Riggs's first narcotics bust in the Christmas tree stand. He goes in, and this is where the movie starts with its heavy, Mel Gibson is a well-known Three Stooges fan. He kind of does a whole Three Stooges act with these three guys that he's trying to buy a load of cocaine from. But he shows that he's reckless. He's not afraid, because at one point, one of the guys, he takes two of them out. The third guy gets him in a headlock and gets a gun to his head. And as opposed to what other cops might say, Sean, what is he telling the cops to do?
To shoot him.
Just shoot him. Right? Shoot through me, do whatever you got to do. If you guys have not paid attention, or if you want to go back and look, the actor who actually has Gibson in a headlock and has the gun to his head is a character actor named Blackie Dammit. You might know him better as being the dad of Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. If you watch it again, it's pretty obvious too. He looks like Anthony Kiedis.
He does.
So he just basically is like, shoot me, just shoot me. Like, and they end up getting this guy taken down, and you don't see it, we don't see it, but Riggs is taken out of narcotics and sent to go work with Murtaugh in Homicide. There is another scene I want to bring up because I don't know if either of you guys saw it. I have never seen it before. I have the box set of all four movies, and I did watch Lethal Weapon a couple years ago, but it's the theatrical cut. After I watched it, I said, I'm going to watch a couple of the deleted scenes. Sometimes you get a little insight. I watched 2 deleted scenes. The first one is a deleted scene where Riggs, at the end of his first day with Murtaugh, after he leaves their house for dinner, he picks up a hooker. And he asks her how old she is. She tells him she's really young. He gives her money and says, I don't want to do anything with you. I want you just to come home with me and watch the Three Stooges. And she's like psyched because she's not going to have to fucking put some guy's dick in her mouth. And he's like, yeah, just come home and hang out with me. And he's like, he treats her like a kid almost. He does the Stooges thing. That was a nice scene. There's a school shooter scene in this movie I never knew existed. Joe, did you see this?
Yeah, so I actually watched the Donner cut, which had those scenes in it.
Oh, okay.
Did they have one where I don't know if I saw the hooker at his house. That might not have been in it. But
there was 8 deleted scenes. I only watched 2 of them. And I watched one of them because I had read that there was a school shooter scene. And oh my Lord.
And that's technically his opening scene. It happens before the I think he's on his way to do the undercover or whatever, but it's before that. And yeah, I'm glad think about it, how tough it was back then. They decided to cut it out. I mean, you can't have that now. I mean, it's so prescient. And it's like, it's pretty, I was struggling with that.
I struggled with it too. And I just thought, wow, like even back then, like it was someone probably said, cut this. So it's not a kid. There's a sniper outside of a schoolyard that's shooting kids, but they show a shot kid. And then they make it the most, grandiose male fantasy where, he just goes up and cause he's not afraid of dying and just blows this guy out of the window. But
with his sniper level handgun.
Yeah.
Big sour.
With cigarette hanging out of his mouth the whole time.
Yeah.
But I thought, my Lord, man, like this is a scene, like I'm surprised this scene is still even on the Blu-rays or like in the cut. I'm surprised they haven't gotten rid of it. Yeah. It was definitely, I don't want to say tasteless because, who knew what the world was going to turn into, but boy, they can't show that scene on TV. Like they can't put that version on on TNT one day. It ain't gonna fly for sure.
There's a show I just binged last week that came out. It was that British show Utopia. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I've heard of it.
It's a brilliant. Well, the first season's brilliant. Second season's really good. It came out 2013, 2014, I think. There's a school shooting scene in the first season that's pretty rough, and they don't pull any punches.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised actually because I saw it on Amazon, I think. Prime that something like that wasn't cut out, but it's rough to watch for sure.
Do they give you a warning or no?
No, I mean I was watching it streaming. It's a British show, again, so maybe that's
I noticed Stranger Things season 4 starts with a warning because in that we've all seen the first episode. It has that massacre in it, and I was
and it dropped 4 days after Uvalde.
Yeah.
So I actually looked at why it happened, and it was 4 days later.
Yeah. So, Sean, right off the bat, when we get the Riggs and Murtaugh convergence and they start to kind of get used to each other, are you I know that with 35 years and 4 movies later, that they're going to end up getting along together. But did you think it was going to be kind of so fast in the movie? It doesn't really take a whole lot of time. Like the trust is broken through kind of quickly there, I feel.
Yeah, well, I think once he realizes, he jumps off the building. I think they repurposed that air mattress thing from the first.
Flipped it over? Yeah.
Just flipped it over and repurposed it for that other scene where he jumps off the building with the dude in handcuffs. And he realizes this guy really is fucked in the head. Like he's not pretending. I think at that point, even though he says you're crazy, I can't, I think there's something there. Because he does what I think Murtaugh kind of wishes he could do, it's tough. There is something there, something brewing in that relationship from that scene on.
Well, and the scene right before that is when he almost kills himself he's like, hey, put it in your mouth, it'll go through your ear, put it under your chin. He almost fires, Mel Gibson fires the gun, and then they go right to the other scene, and I'm like, I thought he would automatically be so, I can't believe they kind of jumped right into friendship after that other scene because he'd really tried to kill himself. Pretty much right there.
I think there's a trust issue there.
Yeah.
Not even issue. There's some kind of trust bond at that point.
Yeah. And he also, on the first day after, they go through all this stuff, he brings them home for dinner. And the dinner scene and the family aspect, which is going to be heavily involved in the rest of these movies, is one of the best part of all these movies is the fact that Mel Gibson, the Riggs character, kind of ingratiates himself into the family. There's so many movies where a character like Gibson's character would be so damaged that he's like, I'm not going home with you. But he goes home with him and he eats dinner willingly and he stays for the tort and he helps him work on it's like he is like saying, I want to be good. I want to be better. I don't want to, to live in this world where, he describes it at one point, right, Joe? What does he carry on him at all times?
The bullet you want to use to kill himself with.
Yeah, and what's the bullet? What's so specific about the bullet?
It's a hollow point to make sure it blows up his skull.
Right. Yeah. He is so suicidal that he has this bullet every day in his pocket, and every day he says he wakes up and has to figure out a reason not to kill himself, and it turns out to be the job. Like he is so good at his job that it gives him something to do every day. And now he's suddenly kind of gotten this partner who is also very good at the job. They don't really ever talk about it, but there's a couple conversations they have in the movie where they both relate to being Vietnam vets, which I think might form, like, obviously this bond that, like, none of us will understand, but it's just going to be automatic, right? Between the two of them. I love the relationship between Gibson and Danny Glover in these films because it feels so natural. There's a ton of movies where you might get two people that work well together, but you don't really feel like they really have this, like, bond. And these two guys, to me, feel like they completely have this bond. So as we go along, we find out that Hunsaker, the Tom Atkins character, who had saved Murtaugh's life in Vietnam, his daughter got involved in his heroin operation, which is being run by General McAllister, his goon squad led by the albino Superman, Mr. Joshua, played by Gary Busey. Sean, how does Gary Busey prove to a guy how fucking tough he is in one scene?
So he holds his arm over a lit flame from a lighter, right? For however long that was, and didn't flinch. You kind of see him, like, moving those Busey jowls around, which I liked. I like the fact that they didn't make it like he was a robot. You could see he's cooking. But he's okay with it.
I love that scene because the other guy, Ed O'Ross, he did a couple roles and other thing. The guy who's like the buyer or whatever, and he's like, "You're out there like fucking Pluto, man. You're gone." Like he's like, can't wait to get out of there. And I just always love that. I always said for years, I'm like, "Oh, you're out there like fucking Pluto, man."
Did you agree with me? Like as I watched that scene, like if you're in that situation where like you're the buyer of these drugs. And you've already, like, gotten on these bad guys' nerves, and they seem like they're fucking out there. Like Busey could fucking hold his arm over the fire and all this stuff. He's mouthy as fuck. Like, I would just shut my mouth and get out of there and then hope that either the deal goes down or it doesn't go down, right? Joe, did you notice that? Like you said, the Pluto thing. And then even after that, he's like, you guys are fucking Looney Tunes or whatever. Like, just get out of there, dude. Don't antagonize the psychopaths.
Yeah, who cares that he uses mercenaries?
Yeah.
It's your supplier.
Yeah, I didn't get that. It seemed like everybody was surprised that they would have mercenaries. Like, we find out that a hooker actually killed Hunsaker's daughter when her house blows up, which, by the way, is a great scene. It reminds me of that scene in The Other Guys when the house blows up. And Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell are talking about how explosions in movies get it wrong. Like, I think I'm really hurt. Like, they're walking into this house, it blows up, and they go flying, and they just get up and dust themselves off. You know, one of them would have had bleeding eardrums. When they find, like, the piece of the bomb, Riggs is like, this is mercenary work. It's like, come on, man. Does it have to be mercenary work? Could it have been anybody that knows explosives work?
Could have been a Vietnam vet who knew explosives work.
Right.
Yeah, apparently it was the hallmark of a certain type of bomb or detonation they used in Vietnam.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sean, in that scene, they have to get an ID from a group of little kids who are probably all seriously in, like, I would say the 5 to 8-year-old range. Sean, were there no good working actor kids on any set anywhere available that day? Where did they get these fucking terrible acting kids?
I can't imagine that was the case because, yeah, these kids were not good. Overacting, over-enunciating their lines. And this is South Central, right?
They're in LA. They're in LA somewhere, yeah.
It's like South Central where they are. These kids are probably packing. So I was, stand up to the cops, but no, they roll over. One of them just keeps talking.
For ice cream. I don't know,
these kids, for ice cream, sure, but these kids wouldn't last in the hood. I'll tell you that.
I did appreciate the joke, though, like, APB on a big bird with a funny voice like that. Yeah. I thought really Mel Gibson did a good job with the comedy in that scene.
Yeah, I mean, the comedy in all this movie, right, is pretty powerful. Now, speaking of powerful, I do want to bring something up. We don't always talk about the music in movies, but I feel like you cannot talk about Lethal Weapon without bringing up the Michael Kamen soundtrack, which might be the most 80s action movie kind of. I think if you were to just think about Lethal Weapon, you immediately might think of like like all the horns and the guitar riffs that happen in this thing.
Which is Eric Clapton, right?
Eric Clapton played guitar on this soundtrack. If you were paying attention to that whole bit there, did you like the little kind of, I would say, exclamation points they would put on the end of certain scenes with like the horn and everything, or did you feel like it was just too much?
I don't know. I think it was just some kind of an 80s trope kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
Okay.
I mean, 87 was a big year, I think, for the saxophone, because if I think of two 80s movies with saxophones, it's this one and then Saxophone Man and Lost Boys.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I think, just like 80s saxophone is both those movies, and they're 87, so that must be prime saxophone.
That dude still does appearances shirtless with the saxophone.
Have you met him or no?
No, I haven't. I think Larry has. I think he has a picture with him.
Did he say Sean? Did he meet you and say Sean, Saxophone Man?
Sean, Saxophone Man. Yeah.
And let's not forget. These movies were both directed by Richard Donner. Maybe it's Richard Donner's whole plot was to take that back. Richard Donner produced, I think, The Lost Boys. I apologize.
Yeah.
You know what? At the beginning of the podcast, I erroneously said that Richard Donner directed The Lost Boys. That was Joel Schumacher. I apologize for that. So you know what? He directed The Goonies and Superman the movie. I apologize. There's a lot of people out there who got to this point of the podcast and are like, this fucking idiot. And I'm not going to delete that. I want you to hear me correct myself right now.
They might turn it off, though, and not get to it. So.
Oh, it's all right. It's okay.
Here's a dumb question. Did he direct Die Hard?
No, John McTiernan.
Yeah, the Predator guy, right?
Who did Predator, yeah.
All right, gotcha.
Eventually, McAllister and his crew of miscreants become pretty suspicious of Murtaugh and Riggs, who are involved with Hunsacker, which isn't hard, too, because Hunsacker, who I think he owned, that was his job, was he owns a bank. At one moment early in the movie, in his bank, which is full of people at Christmas time, he's yelling to Murtaugh, "Kill him for me! You're a cop, goddammit! Kill him for me!" I can't imagine that's good for business, but it probably isn't also good for, like, if there's someone there, like, listening in. So they decide to go hard and go for Riggs and Murtaugh. So during the scene where they kill Hunsacker, they set it up, Murtaugh and Riggs set it up so that they can make Riggs look like he's been killed, right, Joe?
Yeah, after that, he gets shot when they're walking with a hooker. Yeah.
After that, he's talking to a hooker. Mr. Joshua comes by with a 187 drive-by, blasts him in the chest with a shotgun, and then I guess you could just call the police station and ask, "Hey, did a cop get killed tonight?" And the cops just go, "Yeah, it was Martin Riggs. He's dead." I didn't know you could do that. Like, you know,
KCOP News.
KCOP News. Yeah, I'm going to send someone down. So now the bad guys are convinced that Riggs is dead, and they decide to go and they take Murtaugh's daughter, his oldest daughter, who, by the way, is a smoke show in this movie. I got to say.
We had a crush. I mean, I was definitely had a crush on her through all the movies, and it's nice that she had 4 acting jobs.
No, she's continued on TV. She actually was in things recently. I was looking her up. She still looks pretty good. But yeah, so they kidnap her. So here's the plan, right? They're going to go make an exchange. McAllister wants Murtaugh, and he's going to trade Murtaugh for the daughter. And what does he want? He wants from Murtaugh, he just wants to know what Hunsacker told him. Like, it's kind of a stupid plot point. Like, you're going this far and you're doing all this terrible shit. Like, obviously, like, we all know that you're into bad stuff. It seems a little implausible, but we have this great, like, whole, like, say, last 40 minutes of the movie where it's, like, kind of a continuous action scene, you know, moving into a great foot chase, moving into a great fight scene. So let's talk a little bit about the trade-off. Where does the trade-off take place, Sean? Like, what wonderful, like, locale do we have to have this trade-off?
Wonderful white sand desert, just somewhere
right in the middle of nowhere.
Like a Breaking Bad scene. Yeah, it's pretty lovely. Great visuals, but a nonsensible plot point.
They said it was like a dry lake or some kind of like, 'cause they have these weird dry lakes that are, more of them are drying up now, but they have that in California in the desert. Like, used to be a lake, now they're gone.
Is that what that was?
They said they called it dry lake or something.
Yeah, I think he says the dry lake bed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sean, part 2, since Riggs is thought to be dead, what role is he playing in all of this?
He is going to be sniping the guys where was he? Like behind a bush somewhere, right?
Yeah, he's behind tumbleweeds.
Yeah, but was he did he have an elevated position on him?
No, he's just like on the ground, like 100 feet away or something.
Yeah, same level as them and everything. Yeah, that's a great. And it's funny because once he starts picking them off, they're like, it's that damn Riggs.
Yeah,
he's on the.
Yeah, how do you know?
Well, Joshua says that, and I think they're trying to intone that Joshua and Riggs must know a lot about each other. Not a lot about each other necessarily, but like they're kindred spirits. Like, because he says Riggs survived. I do have a question that's going to jump ahead a little bit, but I'll jump back around. Right before Riggs gets captured by McAllister, when McAllister has the gun over Riggs' head and says, "It's over, son," he's got Joshua in his sights. Now, this is a guy that we've already proven is fairly suicidal. Why the fuck doesn't he take Joshua out with that shot? The worst that happens is you get shot in the back of the head and you're dead anyway, right? But I guess the least that happens is you don't kill the bad guy and we got a half hour more of a movie. You know what I'm saying? Did you feel that was weird when you watch that scene where you see he's got him in his sights and he just kind of gives up very easily?
Yeah, I couldn't believe he didn't get him earlier. If he's getting everybody, get the people off Rianne and then the gun, but they couldn't shoot him that far. I don't know why he had to wait till all of a sudden Joshua gets out of the car, which is weird if everybody's being sniped.
Yeah.
But I feel like he could have been the first target.
So there's mass chaos going on. Murtaugh comes out of the car and he's got a grenade. Probably a grenade of his from Vietnam. It turns out to be a smoke grenade. This is one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. So he's holding the grenade out and everybody's very threatened by it. And Joshua just gets fed up with him and walks up to him and shoots him in the fucking arm. He's like, I don't give a fuck about this guy and his grenade. Shoots him in the arm. And Murtaugh drops the grenade. It's a flashbang. Doesn't do anything. Rianne gets in her car. And here's a scene that I think I sleep on every time I watch this, but from a technical perspective, it's pretty cool. A car versus helicopter chase, right? Sean, did you like the scene where the helicopter's actually battering the car and forcing it into different directions?
Yeah, I liked it, I guess. I don't understand it though. So how could you not just take a hard left and throw that right off course and probably into the ground?
I wondered if it was supposed to be that she's just so scared, because I thought the same thing. It's very much like Charlize Theron and Prometheus. Why don't you just turn? While you're running, just turn hard left. That thing cannot move after you. If you took a hard right or hard left, that chopper is going to have to fucking course correct, and then you could just do it again. And they made it clear it didn't have this wasn't Airwolf. It didn't have Gatling guns on it or anything.
Basic defensive driving. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, she's 16, so
yeah,
and driving a limo. Well,
she is driving a limo.
The 80s had, I think, multiple, I want to say, helicopters on tech and car scenes. In my head, there's an A-team or a couple A-teams.
I'm talking feature films, Joe. I'm not talking about the fucking A-team. The A-team had an episode where they used cannons and watermelons to take the bad guys out. Do you remember that episode?
Yeah. Oh, because the watermelons were going to go bad if they didn't make it to the grocery store, or they were getting hijacked or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. So let's not get too excited. So everybody gets recaptured, right? And they get brought into the bad guy's lair, which, by the way, the bad guy's lair is like a heavy metal club in the middle of Hollywood Boulevard.
It's a hairband club.
It's a hairband club, and it's got one of the funniest scenes in the whole fucking movie. Is early in the movie when you're loony to the moon or whatever the guy says to them. When that scene starts, Mr. Joshua walks over to General McAllister to get his attention, to tell him the buyer's here. And General McAllister, who's like a 65-year-old guy, is literally watching the band perform. And they're some weird 80s probably Poison cover band. I find that very odd. In my head, I'm thinking this guy does not like this band. And he probably also has nothing to do with the talent that's on stage, but he's there for it. He's checking it out.
So he had them all executed after the performance.
It's so terrible. You said there's a talent scout there, Joe?
Well, yeah, the guy, not the talent scout, but sorry, the bar talent guy. Because you remember they're talking in the back. He's like, "Whoa, you're terrible! I can get a twice the better band for half the price. Start again." Like the guys were practicing.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
They definitely had a bar manager if that was the front.
I think it's funny though, because most people in their fronts don't give a fuck about the front, and it seems like McAllister's very involved in who the band is. These guys aren't going on tonight, are they? All right, just sell the heroin, McAllister.
I mean, it must be the music must be so deafening because you can't hear gunshots.
Yeah,
from the back.
Yeah. So let's go over everybody's situation here. Murtaugh is being worked over by McAllister and his goons. They're using salt in the wound, which looks very painful, punching him in the face, really working him over. That's all fine and all. And they've also got the daughter held aside. But the real one I want to talk about, Sean, I want to get your opinion on, is the torture scene of Martin Riggs. Okay, I think we have to have a little bit of a talk about a guy from the 80s who deserves his just discussion, and that's Al Leong. Okay, Al Leong is the Asian actor in this scene whose character is torturing Martin Riggs. But moreover, this is the guy that was in just about every movie you ever saw in the 80s playing a henchman or bad guy. Let me give you a list of films that you could find Al Leong in. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, just if you're thinking of the 80s, Asian guy, shoulder length hair, and like a kind of a Fu Manchu mustache and beard. Al Leong could have been found in Big Trouble in Little China. You could have found Al Leong in Die Hard. Action Jackson. I Come in Peace, the Dolph Lundgren film, which is also known as Dark Angel in some circles. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Al Leong played Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
They Live. He's in They Live. And then I put this one down because I just found it was a refreshing change of pace. Amongst all that action carnage in the 80s, Al Leong found time to be in She's Having a Baby. You guys, let me just ask real quick. You guys are familiar with Al Leong? Sean, first of all, you know him, right?
Yeah, as soon as I saw him in this movie, I was like, where the hell do I know this guy from?
And Joe, I'm sure you're very well versed.
Certainly, Die Hard. I certainly knew him, and I can see I can picture him in the other things that you said. I mean, it's obvious he would be in Big Trouble in Little China, but at least in this movie, he got to speak. Right? He doesn't really have dialogue very often. I'm thinking, and he's got his time to shine.
Joe, you make fun of me for at one point making a couple of Asian remarks that were a little bit off base. You just said obviously he was going to be in Big Trouble in Little China.
That is because they typecast everybody. That wasn't
okay. I'm just pointing that out there. That now we're even, and you're a terrible person too.
Nope. Out there, no.
More prolific, him or James Hong, who was also in everything that requires an Asian actor.
Oh no,
James
he isn't.
Hong.
Don't say it. No, he was not typecast. No.
No, but prolific James Hong. But if you want to go with someone who played a henchman more often than not, like his prolific henchman abilities, you'll have to go with Al Leong.
True. James Hong played more of the characters like, Booger's mentor in Revenge of the Nerds too.
Snotty,
like that.
Yeah, and
Snotty, yeah.
the Mater D in Seinfeld. Yeah, he played more well-rounded characters.
Yeah.
James Leong is the guy most likely known for holding an Uzi at some point in a movie.
Genghis Khan was zenith probably of his acting career.
Yes.
That was the role he was meant to play. So
why don't you describe, Sean, for us this weird torture that he's going to put on Riggs?
So this is with the jumper cables, right?
Oh yeah,
jumper cables, the sponges in the water, basically shocking them. Now, I don't exactly remember how it went. I think I was might have got distracted during part of this.
It really is just what they say.
I do remember thinking, why isn't he just kicking him away? Like, he'd come at him and shock him, but it's like, why don't you use your legs and kick the shit out of this guy?
I think Mr. Joshua was holding him down. His arms were up, but I think Joshua was holding his body maybe at the beginning of it. And then once Joshua disappears to go find out what's happening in the other room, that's when Riggs gets his legs around the guy's neck and puts him into essentially a fucking upside down triangle choke and breaks his neck and then gets out. He gets out and all hell breaks loose. Everybody gets loose. Everybody gets separated. Joe, why don't you explain what happens to McAllister and what happens to Mr. Joshua and where they end up?
So McAllister ends up barbecued on Hollywood Boulevard. He comes out a back door, but I'm really still not sure how Murtaugh was able to find the back door. I guess they were out front of the club, but then he sort of walks down the street. You don't know which way he's going, and he sort of looks like he turns down an alley, and oh wait, here comes McAllister out the back door. other thing, and he does his little trick with didn't talk about the sharpshooter scene where Murtaugh's really proud of his one shot, one kill, 6-shooter, and he shoots McAllister it shoots the driver right through the driver's side, and then McAllister's car flips over and burns, and he can't. The grenades light up on fire, and the whole thing blows up.
Yes, so
that was probably the most drawn out explanation. Sorry.
That works. That works. So what about Mr. Joshua?
Well, he gets away. He gets in a car, and Riggs starts running after him and chases him over to the highway in the car while he's running.
Two cars.
Two cars. That's true. He grabs the person out, throws them out, and then gets in the other car. And
to his credit, he ran a good bunch of 5-6 blocks and matched the speed of that car.
I remember thinking he's the most lethal weapon. He's running down the street catching up with the guy at the highway.
So let me ask you guys a question real quick, because you're both grown men, and I'm a grown man who knows my limitations. One of my limitations is I'm not good with directions. So like, there's the scene where Riggs goes over to Murtaugh and's like, "Where's McAllister?" And he's like, he's barbecued on Hollywood Boulevard. Where's Joshua? Or he's chasing Joshua, and Murtaugh saw where he went, and Murtaugh goes, go 2 blocks up and take the undercut, and it'll get you to the beginning of the I-91 pickup. And I'm thinking to myself, would you guys have been able to do that? Because I would have I might have been easier if you just told me, go down 2 blocks and take a left. But like, are you guys good with like directions like that at all?
Not anymore. Now I would say just look it up on your phone.
I'm good. I don't know if that on the fly, but also, right, A, they're cops. They should know their own beat. B, you're in LA, you can't go anywhere but drive, so you better know where you're going because you don't want to take a wrong turn. I think LA is a place you never want to take a wrong turn, so I'm going to give it to the LA people know where they're going.
Okay.
Also, they're usually going there at 2 miles an hour, so they probably can stop and look at every street.
Right. I do want to jump on and say also, as one of you just said, it gets a lot of credit. We've talked about in the show before, like great foot chases in movies. This isn't necessarily a foot chase because it's Riggs on foot after a car, but this is a great like foot pursuit. Like he really, and I think he's barefoot too. From the torture, I think he's still barefoot. He runs all the fuck way around to the point where he finally, disables at least one of the vehicles that Joshua ends up in. But then Joshua ends up as the movie ends, he ends up exactly where we know he's going to go. He's going to go to Murtaugh's house. So somehow they had enough time to set everything up and have a little note on the door for him. Hey, bad guys, we know that you're here. Love the cops. I think he could have done it in a different way, but they just say fuck it and drive a squad's car right through the front of Murtaugh's house, which has already been being renovated and already kind of gotten fucked up a few times. Squad car right through. Now here's another part that stretches the ability of believability, even with all of the stuff swirling around the police department, especially nowadays. But do you think all the cops would have been okay with that Muay Thai fight happening on the front lawn, or would someone have tried to stop it? Sean, would the cops, because they're literally going, no, Murtaugh's like, I'm in charge here. I'll take jurisdiction. I'll take responsibility. We're going 9 rounds. Sean, do you think that like everybody's gonna be cool with that?
I think they recognize the importance of, hey, this is Riggs' equal. They got to battle it out. But don't worry, if Riggs loses, we're shooting the other guy. So he's going to win. But everyone just check it out for now. Yeah. Riggs is in trouble, we'll jump in, but let's just enjoy.
This fight scene was originally 4 minutes longer. They cut it down. And they say that's why if you watch it, there's a little bit of wonkiness to the edits. It's because it was 4 minutes longer. And they said we don't need it to be 8 minutes. I think it was 4 minutes or 3 minutes long. A quick thing I wanted to point out was both Busey and Gibson were trained in 3 separate martial arts by 3 separate masters. Capoeira, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu by Royce Gracie. So one of the Gracies worked with him on this. You can see it. Yeah, Royce Gracie. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I know that. I actually.
Oh, you're that guy. He's
no. I used to.
I
watched UFC back in like the 1 through 10 era. Yeah. I remember it was Royce Gracie.
It's Royce Halpenzo.
First Asian.
They don't pronounce ours.
Now you're insulting Brazilians. I tell you.
Hey, look, Joe. After what you said about Al Leong, I hope your baby doesn't inherit those genes. Okay, Joe. And then here's the third martial art, which I had never heard of before. It's called Jailhouse Rock. And apparently there's two different, like kind of things they say about Jailhouse Rock. One of them is that it's a prison taught style, but the more common thing that you read about it is that it is actually predominant on like the East Coast, New York, and more like, it's supposed to be more like African American neighborhoods. There's also another name for, I think, the 52 moves or something like that, but it's essentially a street fighting technique. So both of these guys were trained together over the course of time. And that's why, I'm sure, Sean, you being a UFC guy, being able to correct me immediately on my R to H problem that I have, is that, you could see like the triangle chokes. You could see when they got to the ground, like the grappling and all that stuff. Yeah. Sean, as a guy that likes to watch fights and stuff, did you like this last fight? Were you excited about this last fight? Especially when it's two guys. It's not Van Damme versus, blah, blah, blah. This is, Mel Gibson, who's not known for being a martial artist, and Gary Busey, who's, not known for being much of anything.
I'd have to compare it to the standard of, fights in movies. They Live, Roddy Piper and Keith David. It's a different style, obviously. That's pro wrestling. That was literally pro wrestling and They Live. This was more technically sound, like they knew what they were doing. This is like if two martial artists are squaring off, this is how they would fight. Always looking for the advantage, always trying to take the other one down. I can appreciate it for sure. And although I don't know about Mel Gibson getting 2 submission victories by triangle choke in the same movie. I don't know if I believe that, but
okay. All right.
Otherwise, yeah, I could appreciate it.
All right. Joe, do you enjoy this final fight?
Yeah, and it's funny because I had no idea what jiu-jitsu was. I didn't become a UFC fan until like 2001, and then realizing after the fact that the triangle choke was something that could actually hurt you. I remember seeing it really like, well, what is that doing? So it was actually nice to go back and see it, knowing that was the Gracie brothers, but also so they actually show up in Lethal Weapon 3. Rene Russo kicks Royce and Horian's ass in one of the scenes. There are a couple of toughs. So
you said she kicks Royce and Rorian's ass. You said
yes, Royce and Rorian's ass.
Okay, just want to make sure. I heard.
But
that
yeah,
right.
They show up as actual henchmen in the third one.
I haven't seen the third one in a long time, and I've only seen the fourth one once ever. So,
well, they got super preachy, right? The third one is the gang, the South Central gang stuff, just in '92, and the other one was the human trafficking.
But who were the bad guys in the last one, Joe?
Well, they were Asians.
Yes, they were. Oh boy!
It was Jet Li. So.
It was Jet Li.
God. Oh. Oof.
All right. So as they end up winning and defeating the bad guys, Riggs and Murtaugh end up coming together to have a Christmas dinner together, and we get a real sense that I know we talked a lot about Lethal Weapon. We didn't get so far into their relationship. We talked about it a bit, but it's the cornerstone of all these movies. I don't think it's any kind of shock that they're going to become eventually these great partners and pretty much like opposite end best friends. And that's how the movie ends. And it ends with another Christmas song. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions real quick. I don't want to get too far into this, but I want a yes or no on each one of these questions, and then we'll just move along. Okay? Sean, I'm going to start with you. Do you think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie?
No.
Okay. Joe, do you think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Okay. I lean towards feeling like Die Hard is a Christmas movie as well, simply for the fact that it has, yes, I understand it's not about Christmas, but it's a heavy Christmas backdrop. There's so many Christmas related jokes and visual gags in it. It feels good to watch it around Christmas time. So here's my second question, and it's going to change a little bit for you two guys. Sean, even though you say Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, for all the people out there that say Die Hard is a Christmas movie, do you think that Lethal Weapon deserves the same amount of this is a Christmas movie, constant 24/7 talk?
Then yes. If you think Die Hard is, then you have to say Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie.
Okay. Joe, do you feel that Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie as much as you feel Die Hard is?
Yes, and I cannot just do yes or no answer for this. I have a whole diatribe because I personally think it is a far superior Christmas movie.
I agree with you 100%.
First off, look how realistic it is. You have people literally struggling with mental health at Christmas, which let's face it, that's the season. You have a movie about friendship, you movie about family coming together, at the end at Christmas. I think it's a far superior Christmas movie. And I know it's probably not as popular a movie overall because honestly, Lethal Weapon 2 is probably more well known than original, but I think it's just far superior in the holiday oeuvre than Die Hard.
I always thought it was weird that Die Hard somehow caught on to this weird cultural zeitgeist in the last 10 or 12 years of is it or is it not a Christmas movie, yet Lethal Weapon, nobody ever talks about it. Lethal Weapon's a year older. Lethal Weapon, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and Sean might argue this because you've seen Die Hard, right, Sean?
Oh, yeah.
So, in my head, Lethal Weapon is as popular as Die Hard. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm not even trying to argue that. It's just in my head, it's not like one is much more well-known than the other. If you know one, you should know the other. So why has Lethal Weapon never gotten that same treatment? Because, again, Shane Black, we know he does that with all of his movies for the most part. Right down to Iron Man 3 and, what else? What was the other one he did that, Last Boy Scout, I think, is also around Christmas time, I believe, but he's done that multiple times in his career. I just never got why Lethal Weapon doesn't get that same fucking amount of Christmas love. All right. Joe,
it's literally like you beamed into my head and just sucked out that thought because I came in with that. I've been waiting for years to tell somebody who will listen, and you're stuck. You're a captive audience.
All right. Well, it's your last show for a while, Joe. I wanted to make sure you could squeeze every little bit of, because you still have to fill out all of your FMLA paperwork with Pint of Comics,
true.
or I'm sorry, your FMLA paperwork with the Pint. I have to fill out the name change form still. I'm still calling it that. All right, Joe, let's go over the box office of this thing.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Okay, so we have, it was $15 million budget, made, hold on, let me find it. It's $65 million in the US, 55 worldwide, and $120 million total. That's what I saw. That's pretty good return on investment.
It made
Not shocking.
money.
It had 3 sequels. I have, let's see, the top 5 for the week. I mean, I think we've done enough 1987 to not have to go over the top 10 again.
No, top 5 is fine.
Picked it up for that week. Number 5 was 5 was Outrageous Fortune, which I think is Shelley Long and Ed Miller or something. That was in the 6th week. Number 4 was Angel Heart.
Oh, Mickey Rourke,
Damn fine movie in its first week. 3rd was Platoon in its 12th week.
I love Platoon, man. That's such a well-made. Platoon is a movie that I want to do on the show, but I just it's so it's one of those subject matters that I think we could do a good job on it, but it's still so touchy. But such a great fucking movie. Such a
comes
great
back
movie.
to my feeling of the 80s movies and the post-Vietnam era syndrome. So number 2. I wonder if you could possibly, I'm trying to think of what kind of hint I could give you without giving it away.
87?
87, March 6th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th week. I forgot to write it down. Well-known franchise.
Masters of the Universe?
Movie franchise.
Oh, 87.
Rated R.
Oh, probably a Friday the 13th?
Close. Dream Warriors. Nightmare on Elm Street.
That fucking...
I love Dream Warriors.
Yes.
Oh.
See, yes. Well, first I was on, I'm no longer with you. I'm over here with Shoney Mac over here. I personally love Dream Warriors. I don't know what these guys' problem is.
As a kid, that was the one that, besides the first one, that freaked me out the most.
I enjoyed Dream Warriors as a kid. I really did. Watching it again to do the live streams we do, I was like, this is not great.
It may not hold up because of the experience I had as a kid. It kind of sticks with me.
Yeah,
a lot of this stuff does. And number 1 was Lethal Weapon. It's a point I'd like to bring up here, and maybe it's 87 had a lot of R-rated movies. The top 5 are all rated R. How often do you think that happens? Even in March, the top 5 movie, now it won't because everything's PG-13.
Right.
But how back then? How often? That just doesn't seem very common to have top 5 of the movies be all rated R.
Yeah, I don't think that's common. I don't think that's common at all. All right, so we've talked all about the movie. We talked about the box office. We talked all about that stuff. Now, Joe, what was it you wanted us before? We're going to rate it now. All right, we're going to rate it, and then we're going to add on your little question at the end. So why don't we go ahead and rate this thing?
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
All right, Joe. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to do the number rating first, or do you want to do your question first?
Let's do the number rating first. Well, I'll do my number rating, then I'll answer the question and let everybody else. How's that sound?
That sounds fine. And since you brought it up, why don't you fucking start? Okay. 0 to 5, 0 being the absolute worst, 5 being the greatest thing ever, quarter and half scale optional, because that's on the pint. Joe, what do you give 1987's happy 35th anniversary, by the way, Lethal Weapon?
Looking back at this now, I realize just the dialogue, which we didn't talk probably a ton about because it's an action movie, is almost really, you can see where Shane Black gets his good dialogue, because honestly, it's really up there with, to me, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is like his just primo dialogue movie. And it's still really good. It's just bent towards more action. And so it's, in that sense, it's actually grown in esteem. Because I've seen it a million times too, and even in the last 10 years, but never really picked up on just how good it was compared to these other, what Shane Black is known for. And so it really just holds up. And I'd also like to say, I don't consider Tom Atkins a good actor, but he was pretty good in this. His little scene where he's like really emotional, I was sort of impressed, even though I think Halloween 3, he was pretty stiff.
Oh, Halloween 3, when he's begging them not to show the commercial? Joe.
That part, but like when he's seducing the whatever lady in the
robot. He fucks the robot.
I don't know.
Tom Atkins get any chick he wants. I mean,
that's probably true. So yeah, I still love this movie. There's some, quirky plot things that don't always make sense. The ages, just I keep thinking in my head, really, if Mel Gibson was in Saigon in 1969, he would have been 12 or what. So, some quirky parts they don't always explain, but I mean, I just love this movie. And I mean, I'm going to go with 4.75. I know I grade a scale if I gave Lost Boys 4 or 5 because I love it. Lethal Weapon is just one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, it's just money.
All right. And what was your question? What did you want us to answer at the end here?
So does it hold up, or are we too old for this shit? So for me, it's obvious it holds up.
Yeah. I understand that.
And for those who haven't seen it, right, the catchphrase from Roger Murtaugh is I'm too old for this shit. I guess we didn't really specify that.
And funnily enough, I'm too old for this shit is the actual catchphrase. People always say, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah.
He says that in either part 2 or 3. In part 1, it's, I'm too old for this shit. So the I'm getting too old for this shit is not Lethal Weapon 1. All right, we'll go to Sean last, because I'm really curious, because Sean had never seen this before. I'm going to mirror you pretty heavily, Joe. This is a fantastic movie. I will go ahead and say that people don't say it often enough, but Lethal Weapon 2 is one of those rare movies that could be in the talk of, is it better than the first? Right? It's one of those rare sequels that I think could be injected into that. And I don't know, I'm going to have to go through that box set and maybe do more episodes to determine how I feel. But right now, I'm going to go with a 4.5. I love Lethal Weapon. I do think that maybe it doesn't have the most memorable plot in the world, but I don't think this movie was made for the plot. I think this movie was made to introduce these two characters that have pervaded, American and worldwide pop culture. It was made to give Al Leong another opportunity to hold an Uzi at some point in his career. It was made to have wispy saxophone notes and Eric Clapton guitar licks playing over a character, like Murtaugh grumbling something like too old for this or something like that. It is kind of a template for buddy cop movies for a long time. Like you're essentially, I'm sure for years after every buddy cop movie, somebody was saying, but where does this stack up to like Lethal Weapon? Right? Like, do we have our Riggs? Do we have our Murtaugh? It probably became part of like Hollywood nomenclature in terms of like, we gotta have Riggs and Murtaugh. Look, I talked about it before, Shane Black, he made The Last Boy Scout, right? That's a very Riggs Murtaugh thing, You got these two very disparate characters that if you remember that movie, would play together really well. So I'm going to go with
that was great too.
Oh, I watched that. I think like in the last year or in the first year of the pandemic, I rewatched it for the first time in a long time. That movie holds the fuck up. It's ridiculous. It starts with a guy.
Ain't life a bitch.
Ain't life a bitch. Yeah, it starts with a running back pulling a gun out on the field during a fucking like Monday Night Football game. It's goddamn ridiculous, right? But it's so fucking good. So I'm going to go with 4.5 for Lethal Weapon. And yeah, this holds up. This is not I'm not too old for this. All right, I'm very excited. Shawnee Mac, what did you think? What are you going to give it? And does it hold up, or are you too old for this shit?
So I'll just say a couple things I don't like first and get that out of the way. One is this movie is like a hallmark for ridiculous body counts, and there's no accountability. It's not brought up. I mean, so many people are just shot, and for a movie with humor, it's kind of surprising that it is so violent. But what you said about the original script and how they kind of had to tone it down and then add humor, it makes sense. They kept that body count in there, which is just, I don't know. It's fine. It's never answered to. I have an issue with that. And then Danny Glover in the beginning couldn't really get into his character. I thought he didn't deliver his lines well, and I guess that was nitpicking. But boy, he picked it up. And him and Mel Gibson, their chemistry throughout the movie obviously got better and better. And John, what you said, I have written down here, LA buddy cop template. So I could see why movies that followed, I don't know exactly what came before it. I'm sure there's a ton, but movies that came after it, especially funny ones, Adventures of Fort Fairlane, The Hard Way. Like this is where they got their inspiration. Obviously those movies didn't have the body count. Although interestingly enough, Fort Fairlane did have the Capitol building, right? And isn't that what she fell from in the beginning of this movie?
Yeah. Capitol Records. Yeah.
Capitol Records building in LA. Yeah. I liked it. And, as I'm watching it, I could see why people really enjoy this movie and why it did have so many sequels and it was so successful. I'm not sure why I didn't see it when it came out. I saw Action Jackson, that piece of shit.
Whoa!
I love Action Jackson.
Yeah.
I love Action Jackson.
Okay, I'll take it back, but it's not one of my favorites. And
Sean, do you know who's an Action Jackson?
Al Leong, Tour de Force.
Al Leong. Yeah, Al Leong.
Yeah, you mentioned it. So again, I could see why people like this movie. The bad, it's kind of a formulaic plot, generic plot, especially with the Vietnam tie-in around this time. I still dug the movie though. I dig it. I like the ending. Some of the situations they got out of were ridiculous, of course. Before I give my rating though, which I think you'll like, did you notice the song, I believe after the Eric Clapton song in the end credits? I believe it was called Lethal Weapon. I don't believe it was the one, it wasn't the Eric Clapton song. It was a Gleaming the Cube level movie theme song. You got to go back and listen to it.
All right, I'm going to find it.
Because I was going to give a shit. Like, yeah, Gleaming the Cube had this. That song's better than this Lethal Weapon song. But anyway.
I like Gleaming the Cube. Remember, go back. I liked it.
You did, yeah.
Never seen it.
3 or 4 years later, we're still singing it, right? So
that's right.
I give this movie 4.25 out of 5.
See? All right. So nobody under 4. And are you too old for this shit, or are you good with it?
I'm good with it.
There we go. All positive reviews. 35th anniversary. We just gave Lethal Weapon a little hug, kiss on the cheek. Said, keep doing what you're doing. Joe, congratulations on the baby coming very soon from the time we're recording this. Hopefully, maybe if I get this out in a couple weeks, already with us. That's very exciting.
I will say, in front of that, I am too old for this shit.
Yeah, Joe, you're going to be an old dad. It's okay though. You're gonna be the dad at the graduation that kids think is the grandpa, but that's okay. It's all right. You look great. You look awesome. So, Sean, thanks for coming back. As always, I implore you, in all seriousness, to at the very least, for enjoyment, watch Lethal Weapon 2. I think if you like this one, I think you'll enjoy the next one. It kind of amps everything up a little bit and also adds in the Joe Pesci character, who isn't needed, but at least in that first movie in part 2, he adds another level of humor that's very good. So I would say that. And if you've never heard someone say they fuck you at the drive-thru, that old Butte, that's from that movie. So give it a whirl. All right. So for Joe and Shawnee Mac, I am John. You guys obviously know because you're already part of the Pint Insider, but I will ask you all for one more favor. Just go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, take 2 minutes out of your day and give us a review. Give us a 5-star review. Give us a true review. I'm assuming if you're paying for hearing extra episodes, we're probably 5-star in your book, but in either case, just go and do that for us. That would be awesome. And then maybe if you ever are listening to this and a friend's listening with you and they say, hey, what's that? Tell them it's the Pint. Tell them where they can find us. Tell them we've got a very cheap Patreon. And tell them that I said, see ya.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!